Well, welcome back to Mississippi Live Weather. That did not take long to come back for a live update. We are doing this live update for a few of y'all that are now under a severe thunderstorm warning. This was those showers and storms we were talking about out west, out there in the Delta. The severe thunderstorm warning is active until 10:30 p.m. later on tonight, and the counties affected are Sunflower, Missouri. It's been a long day. Sunflower, Mississippi, LaFleur, Mississippi, into Carroll, and then also Holmes, Mississippi as well. So those are the counties that are currently under the severe thunderstorm warning. Again, this is active all the way until 10:30, and they're giving these long kind of timings with these warnings because these storms are not moving very quick. So let's take a look at this storm as it kind of progressed through, which actually before we take a look, let's actually take a live look, see if we have any of those cameras out there that can give us one. See if we can try this one. This should be the Greenwood cam. I clicked it right. I don't think that one's coming in. That is a shame. That's going to be probably our best visual on it. So we're not getting, let's see if they turn the Winona. Actually, no, let's just go through our threats real quick. So taking a look at our severe thunderstorm warning, you can definitely see this storm has kind of intensified within the past few minutes here. Let me pull this up. That way I can read the chat for you guys. All right, there we go. All right, so let's take a look at this severe thunderstorm warning and take a look at all of our threats. We're looking at it through Columbus, I believe. And let's take a look at our threats. Again, this is going to be very hail related, and unfortunately, this portion of our viewing area is kind of what's known to be in a radar hole, so we won't have the best visual. We're looking at it super high up just because all the radars we can access are super far away from the Delta. So it's a very unfortunate thing, but still, if it's showcasing hail kind of that far aloft, this is definitely kind of a hail threat that continues to push further and further towards the Greenwood region, definitely over Sunflower right now, towards Sidon, Kruger, over Schlater. So those light pinks and purples you're seeing are kind of showing that large hail is possible, not necessarily that it's happening, but one thing that we've continued to keep reminding you guys on at the threats today have been wind and hail related. We're not talking about anything tornadic. So this severe thunderstorm warning, not really going to produce a tornado or anything near that. It continues to be very wind heavy, very hail heavy, and that continues to be the trend. We can even look at our winds here. Again, this is going to be very high aloft, so we're starting to see kind of that couplet starting to show a little bit, showing that it is a rotating thunderstorm, but we're seeing that rotation further aloft. We're not seeing that down towards the surface, so not concerned about a tornado at this moment, and we're going to continue to stay that way, thankfully, with how this is looking. Even with that radar relative wind, still kind of seeing that aloft. So definitely a rotating thunderstorm, just showcasing that it is a stronger one. Shear trying to pick up just a little bit. But again, if you take a look at the scale above my head, that's very dark red. That's showing it's very limited. It's there. It's rotating a little bit aloft, but it's nothing that we're seeing that's kind of sounding the alarms. It would show very, very bright to kind of grab your attention immediately, and we're not seeing that there. So kind of wanted to hit that immediately to let you guys know that we're not expecting anything tornadic with this. Hopefully that continues to be the trend. Now take a look at your hail threat. This is kind of the hail track that we can see. This has been one we've been kind of looking at a lot throughout the day just because of how hail heavy these storms have been. So we can even put a few kind of Dopplers on this. Let's see if I can get the dark. There we go. So yeah, those lighter pinks are showing that the hail is possible. We are starting to see some of those darker returns showing that it's probable, a little bit more confident on that hail. Would not be surprised to see some of that hail falling. So of course, make sure to stay inside, stay indoors. If you're out driving late tonight, just let it move on by. I know these are kind of slow moving storms, so not going to be quick to where you can pull over and it's already out of your hair within the 5 minutes. Just don't try to drive in this, especially with how late and dark it is. It's just kind of a very heavy kind of stronger storm moving on through the Delta right now. I made sure to send a push for only those affected, so we don't have everybody in here right now. So we're taking a look, trying to see what you guys need to know. Of course, somebody was asking about Richmond. This is the main story that I want to keep emphasizing because we had a lot of those questions kind of earlier during the 9 o'clock broadcast. We're not expecting anything tornadic tonight. We're not even expecting much severe weather overnight. I'm kind of surprised and impressed that this storm is producing this well at this time. So what we're expecting is kind of those wind threats to continue, those hail threats to continue, and we're still seeing that kind of further out west. We really haven't seen any of those storms further east along Highway 45, so this continues to be almost exclusively out in the Delta. That was the area that I wanted to continue watching pretty much all day today, and I went into this shift ready that the southern portions of the Delta were kind of going to continue to see some of those stronger storms, and we're seeing that ongoing currently. So right now, basically the only threat here in North Mississippi is this severe thunderstorm warning that is occurring out there in the Delta. And as we can see, it's getting closer and closer towards Greenwood. Let me pull this up because with these warnings, it'll tell you how fast it's moving. And I want to give you kind of an exact reading here, and then we can kind of put a storm track on it. Let me pull that up here behind the scenes. Okay, it's moving southeast at 30 miles per hour. So that's almost twice as fast as some of the storms we saw earlier today. That's good news. So especially for those maybe out driving, even along 82. So for Highway 82, anybody out driving, that storm's kind of going to be almost on top of you guys within the next few minutes. So just kind of pull over, might hear some hail, maybe just kind of get under, like get inside, but definitely want to play this safe. Oops, sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. Let's do our storm track. There we go. Let's get along the leading edge, give y'all the best track that we can give. Again, this is going around 30 miles per hour. I may be zoomed in a little bit too much. There we go. We'll go a little bit over 30 in case it decides to speed up. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at kind of some of our cities that it can start to affect within the next few minutes. So Berkeley around 947, Grenada Junction 947 as well. That's the same for Runnymede and Itabena, pretty much over you guys right now. Going towards Fort Loring by 949, same for Moorhead and Greenwood. So within the next few minutes, it's 947. So yeah, still a quick moving storm as compared to the ones we saw earlier. Murdoch Crossing by 956, same for Rising Sun and Valley Hill. 957 for Old Dominion and Roebuck, and then Shepherdtown for 959. And Morgan City 959 and Phillipstown around 1001. Let's see if I can knock this down. That's the default. Go up just a little bit. There we go. Get some more cities here within like kind of the full storm track. So Itabena route right now, Moorhead 949, same for Greenwood, Morgan City 959, Sidon 1002, Kruger 1011, Chula around 1029, and Lexington, if it continues to maintain its streak or its strength, around 1044. The good news is, let's clear this off and kind of backtrack just a little bit. I was watching this kind of intensify throughout the 9 o'clock and after we wrapped it up, because I was like, this might be one that we're going to have to go live for. You can kind of see there's that red streak kind of throughout the broadcast, kind of showcasing just a little bit strong, brighter returns with some of those pinks and purples starting to pop up. There you go with some of those darker returns. Take a look at that. Right over Sunflower, kind of where you can see almost the, I guess you could say the heart or the brunt of the storm as it continues moving on through. And sure enough, it continued to kind of intensify, which rightfully so got it warned. And as we continue kind of backtracking and kind of seeing how it's matured, I want to see if it's already starting to decay just a little bit. Now, one thing is I'm looking at those lightning strikes, and they're not signifying that it's decaying or kind of starting to dissipate anytime soon. So those lightning strikes continue to increase. That pretty much showcases that the storm health is pretty healthy and continuing to intensify. So pretty strong storm continuing to move on through, kind of already past the Slater community, pretty much almost on top of Greenwood and Itabena, and then getting closer towards Quito, Sidon, Morgan City, Pine Bluff, Nicholas, Kruger. Y'all are all within the severe thunderstorm warning as it continues kind of pushing further and further southeast towards you guys. So still kind of a stronger thunderstorm. Let's just zoom out real quick because we've been focusing on that one. That's pretty much all we have to focus on. There's nothing else really intense going on. You can see a few of those kind of pop-up showers affecting you guys out there just north of Eupora, even towards Winona. I know you guys started to get some heavier showers earlier on today. This will actually affect the rainfall totals that I was putting together for you guys for the 10 o'clock. We're going to see some of those values start to increase a little bit more with some of these heavier pockets. So still showcasing some of those storms out there in Grenada County, still seeing some of those heavier showers as well, seeing all those lightning strikes associated with it as well. So for a few of you guys that are asleep and maybe getting woken up by that thunder, welcome. I want to make sure to keep you guys updated and informed as these storms continue moving on through. So I highlighted all the areas kind of experiencing these storms. Further out east you go along 45, y'all did not just get a push notification, but if you're here, welcome. We are talking about these storms kind of ongoing out in the Delta. let's go back towards our peak threats again, kind of see how that has updated. We're starting to get a few of those darker purples start to mix in just a little bit, just showcasing that hail, a little bit more confidence. Would not be surprised if this hail is making it all the way down to the surface, but definitely something ongoing, which I want to see if I can do it. See if I switch over to this. There we go. Wow. I keep learning every time I watch Matt do stuff. We can look at the 3D. Only bad thing is it's still just super far away from the radar site. So again, not going to see anything too impressive, but that doesn't mean that it's not occurring. It's just our radars don't really pick up the best information for those out there in the Delta. So would not be surprised to see this kind of a little bit more impressive if we were closer to it and what's actually happening. And we can already, you saw right there, excuse me, actually I'm kind of covering it up. I'll back that up for you guys. Take a look at that corner of the severe thunderstorm warning. For those that it's already kind of passed by, they'll shave off that warning for you guys. So as that storm continues moving on pretty quickly, it's moving twice as fast as the ones we saw earlier today. It'll move on out of your area, and then you're good to go pretty much for the rest of the night as this storm continues moving on through. Let's go back to reflectivity again, because 3D is still not impressive, but that doesn't mean it isn't. It's just, unfortunately, kind of one of the issues we have with a radar site being that far away, which since it is in the southern portion, let's switch to our Jackson radar, try to get another visual on that. You can see a lot of those darker returns. I'll zoom out just a little bit so those streets kind of don't block it. That's just kind of showcasing the heavy rainfall, but also the hail associated with this. So definitely something to keep in mind. Let me make sure I keep my phone on so I can continue to get notifications for you guys from any of the storm chasers, or if Matt reaches out to say anything. All right, let's continue looking. I know somebody was asking about Ripley, and then somebody's asking about Coffeyville. Y'all are still doing fine right now. I mean, I'm kind of surprised y'all are in here asking, because y'all definitely did not get the push alert, because there's nothing going on for you guys up here. Ripley, y'all are doing good. I know there's a few storms kind of getting closer towards y'all's area earlier on this afternoon. Y'all are staying dry. And honestly, these storms continue to be very unimpressive for the most part here in North Mississippi, and not really affecting anybody up northeast. So I kind of expect you guys to continue to stay dry into the overnight period, and then maybe seeing a few spotty showers throughout the next few hours. But again, everything impressive continues to stay further down south. I want to keep my focus down here as this storm continues moving on through the southern portions of the Delta, now getting closer and closer towards Greenwood. Now that I have a little bit of time, we went through all the threats. We tried Greenwood. Let's see. Maybe we can get a visual on oh, that's the Kosciuszko camera. We can't move that one. Let's see. This one should be Winona. Let's see if this one can get a visual if it's pointed the right way. I know some of our storm chasers might be behind the scenes and already working on these cameras, but I'm not seeing any flashes of lightning, so we're going to wait to see if this will update and if it's facing the right way. But I know there's kind of, you can see right here, the bottom left of your screen, kind of another cell right on top of you guys out there in Winona. So still experiencing those soggy conditions, that temperature and dew point almost exact right now, and that northerly wind coming in around 3 miles per hour. So not as gusty out there where our camera is, but going to be a little bit windy as those storms get a little bit closer towards you guys. Not quite picking up on any lightning strikes if it's facing the right direction. I want to try Greenwood again. I don't think that one's online. Let's see if this one, I bet you this one's facing, I bet you that one's facing west. This one's out here in Greenville, but y'all are still staying dry. Not seeing those rain chances right now. That's a good thing. Not really under any warnings or any of those severe thunderstorm warnings. So can't quite get a good visual on the storm right now, but definitely continues to still be an impressive storm, especially for this hour as we're getting closer towards the 10 o'clock time frame, which I will have to send a push out in just a little bit. Somebody said try the Grenada. I don't have the Grenada one access right here. You'll see kind of where my mouse is. We don't have that one currently. I think that one was down, so I can't get that one pulled up for you guys. What about West Point, Mississippi? I know a lot of people have been asking kind of for our Alabama counties to go in the Triangle region. Most models have shown some of that rainfall making its way a little bit later on, but again, not too overall impressive. Most of that continues to stay further out west, pretty much along 55 and even west of it, as we're seeing right now. So not impossible to see some of those rain chances make their way to you guys later on tonight. But again, not expecting anything too crazy. If we're starting to talk about severe storms, it's going to be something like this. Very heavy rainfall, very energetic, probably hearing those rumbles of thunder pretty much constant with just those constant flashes of lightning, and then probably associating that with wind and hail. Again, we're not talking about anything tornadic tonight. This is not a tornado setup. We're not experiencing anything like that tonight. So any rotating thunderstorms we'll see are kind of more just aloft and kind of producing that hail and just higher wind gusts. Tornadoes continue to not really be a threat tonight. So I want to keep emphasizing that for all of you guys. Let's continue to take a look at our threats again, because we're going to see that continue to increase with that hail. If we were talking about tornadoes and the threat of that shear and rotation, we'd start to see that red color start to pop up, and we're not seeing any red here. What our main focus continues to be on is that hail across North Mississippi, and especially for those out there in Greenwood, just past Slater, already moved through Sunflower and continues to move through the respective counties. So still seeing some hail out there, and I bet our hail track's going to look a little bit more impressive as well. Yep, starting to see that kind of move on through. So definitely an impressive thunderstorm continuing to move on through. Somebody was asking about Monroe County, Pontotoc. Again, I'm not really showcasing that right now just because there's not much going on out there. I can even zoom this out for you guys just so y'all can see y'all's respective city and county. Oops, I actually needed to put this back on precipitation. Notice how most of those rain chances continue to stay further out west here in our viewing area. We're not talking about anything out there in Monroe County. I think somebody else said, was it Pontotoc? Yeah, someone's saying it's storming heavy in Grenada. Yeah, Pontotoc and Monroe County. Again, nothing impressive going on out there. So that is a good thing. We're seeing those rain chances and stormy conditions further out west across 55 for those out there in Greenwood and the southern portions of the Delta. And that's exactly where we had our SPC. We can show you guys that day one risk, and which actually, they shaved it off. So now we're all in that level 1 risk. So still kind of ongoing, experiencing that severe weather. I'll shift this over for you guys. That way you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But where that severe thunderstorm warning is, we were originally in that level 2 slight risk, but it looks like they decided to kind of cut that back, keep us only in that level 1. So still showcasing that even if you're in level 1 risk, I mean, you're in it for a reason. You can still get some of those reports. And we're seeing that ongoing right now. So let's go back to precipitation and continue to see those storms continue to move on through the southern portions of the Delta. Let me actually, I can do this here. I'm going to get a push ready for everybody. That way they can all join us for the 10 o'clock. Bear with me for a second. I'll keep this. Let me move this over. That way you guys can see that continue to refresh for you guys. Okay. There we go. Holding down the fort tonight, guys, but I wanted to make sure to keep you guys informed all night long. There we go. We have all that ready. Let's see. Okay, we'll have that ready to go by the 10 o'clock time frame. I want to make sure I spell everything right. Can't be having any spelling errors this late. But yeah, again, we're still, if you're just now joining us, we can reset. I'm meteorologist Caleb Edelblut here, tracking a severe thunderstorm warning out there in the southern portions of the Delta. If you are included in that warning, you're either in Sunflower, LaFleur, Carroll, or into Holmes County, actually, and into Humphreys, Mississippi. So that has extended just a little bit as this severe thunderstorm continues to push on in. I know somebody in the comments was saying it's storming very heavy in Grenada. We can see that ongoing right now. Thankfully, if we take a look at those threats, yeah, actually, y'all might be getting a little bit of hail as well. So still kind of some impressive storms continuing to dump some hail across the western portions of our viewing area. And that continues to be the story. Again, we're not talking about anything tornadic, no tornadoes. This continues to be a very wind-heavy, hail-heavy, and honestly, I could argue more hail-heavy than wind right now with just how these storms continue to produce this hail. I could pretty much guarantee that's what's prompting most of these warnings. So I know you guys were commenting about Grenada out there. We could probably see maybe a few of pea-sized hail falling and maybe just slightly larger as well. So once it's safe, if you guys have any pictures, make sure to report them. I'd love to show them off, and that way we can actually know what these storms are producing. And of course, if you record the biggest hailstone, you get that $100 gift card from True Shield Roofing to hopefully make a bad day just a little bit better and help you guys out with any hail damage. So definitely want to make sure we can see those pictures, get those reports in, kind of know what these storms are producing, but definitely submit them the right way and responsibly, please. So let me send out this push because now it's 9:59 and we're getting closer towards that 10 o'clock time frame. So let me send that. I can copy this over to change our title. There we go. We'll send that out to everybody and then we'll update these real quick. Perfect. All right, so now everybody should have that push notification, and we'll have everybody coming on in for the 10 o'clock show. But not really going to, oh, well, I guess I need to start that really quick. Let's take a quick break. We're going to come right back to discuss this severe thunderstorm warning ongoing here in North Mississippi. We'll be back live real quick right after this break. Let me fix this up to where I actually play the right one. If I can do that. Let's see, Caleb. And then, all right, we'll be back live real quick right after this break. Let's see if that'll kind of reset it. And I'm saying that just in case it sends me to black, and I say that before, so that way it's on purpose. There we go. All right, we'll start that, and I'll see y'all in just 1 second.
At Vibe Aesthetics and Wellness, we believe confidence isn't just how you look, it's how you feel. From subtle, natural aesthetics to personalized wellness care, everything we do is intentional. This is beauty with purpose. At Vibe Men's Health, we take that same approach. We focus on what matters most: strength, energy, and performance. Built on real data, real medicine, and real results, we're here to help you look better, feel stronger, and live fully. Come vibe with us today.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
I had to start off over here because it'll show you or show me here on the band monitor, but we're quickly going back to radar. Welcome to Mississippi Live Weather at 10. Meteorologist Caleb Edelblut, which I need to click the right button for you guys. Let's transition over here in the room-to-room weather center as we're talking about some severe storms ongoing here in North Mississippi, especially out there in the Delta. So wanted to come back over here. That way I can be with the monitor, give you guys the latest look. This is the storm that is currently ongoing. Let me see if I can get this put back over here, make sure everything's up and running good. There's a lot to do behind the scenes. So let's make sure that's still going. And then let's come back here and then go over here. Okay, so sorry. I just want to make sure I'm still live for you guys. And I'm not leaving y'all in the dark, which I'll pull that up real quick, just double check, just in case everybody else is asleep right now. But we're taking a look at this severe thunderstorm warning ongoing out there in the Delta, already looking a little bit less impressive than where it was earlier. And that's when I sent the live notification for only those counties affected. That way, for anybody sleeping, you guys are not getting alerted just in case. So still kind of seeing that severe thunderstorm warning ongoing out there towards the Delta. It's now kind of reaching the Greenwood community as those heavier showers and potentially producing some hail continues to move on through the southern portions of the Delta. So we're looking out at our Jackson radar right now. Let's take a look at all our different kind of products here. Wind continues to not be that impressive, or at least not impressive as it did look from our Monroe County radar, but again, very far away. Jackson's a little bit closer. And one thing you'll notice, again, we're not talking about anything tornadic related. One of the things you look for that is kind of those green and red starting to mix, look very bright, very tight, close together, what we call a velocity couplet. And we're not expecting anything tornadic tonight. The threats that we want to keep emphasizing that we have been expecting is hail and wind. And almost all of these severe thunderstorm warnings have probably been prompted due to the hail threat. And we can see that here with our peak threats. Let me zoom this out just a little bit to get those streets kind of out of the visual. That way you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. Those darker purples are starting to pop up, just showcasing that large hail. It's a little bit more likely, showcasing that confidence with that, because green showcasing that heavy rain, purple that heavy hail, And then wind shear is red. And notice we're not seeing any of those red colors. That would kind of signify maybe some rotation occurring at least a lot closer towards the surface. We could still kind of see a rotating thunderstorm here. I would not be surprised with how strong it is. There we go. Not a bad latest look. So hoping to see that continue to kind of downtrend, but we're not talking about anything with the color red here showcasing any rotation. So again, this continues to be very hail heavy, very wind heavy. Let me move this back over to the chat. That way I can make sure to continue to answer any questions you guys have. So hopefully those will continue coming in. I know sometimes it acts up a little bit on our system, but looks like we have somebody commenting Houston, Mississippi here. Glad to have you joining in. So it looks like the comments will start coming in throughout the next few minutes. So again, hail continues to be the biggest threat here with the severe thunderstorm warning. For those included, you're in either Sunflower County, Humphreys County, LaFleur, Holmes, or Carroll County. And I know Carroll was one we were talking about a lot earlier with some of those heavier showers and storms moving on through. So I know this is y'all's second warning of the day and kind of not really wanting to get any more just with how heavy it's been. But definitely still kind of included within the severe thunderstorm warning. The good news, if y'all weren't here during the update I had before the 10 o'clock, this storm was actually moving twice as fast as the ones we had earlier. We were talking about those were very slow, moving around 15 miles per hour. This one's actually moving at around 30. So not quite going to stay over you guys quite as long as some of those kind of stronger showers we had earlier, which means it kind of can get out quicker and not really trying to make too many impacts. Now that hail threat, kind of want to show you all the latest track on that. Again, a lot more prominent, seeing those darker returns closer towards Sunflower and just east of that community as it continues to move further and further southeast. Starting to see some of those lighter purple start to pop up. So definitely a good sign. One thing I do want to monitor are those lightning strikes, which I keep covering up behind my head, but we're at 338 right now. Now, if we were to go back in time just a little bit to kind of watch this intensify, see that warning kind of get placed, we were at 248, and this was right before we went live as I was kind of watching that storm behind the scenes just in case they did end up warning it, which they did. And those lightning strikes continue to increase. So the severe thunderstorm warning got issued, continues to show impressive colors, kind of those darker, brighter returns. And now we're at current, and those lightning strikes are up to 339. So not showcasing any signs of kind of downtrending or decaying quite yet. So I'm expecting this storm to kind of continue pushing through the southern portions of the Delta. I'm wondering if they're going to kind of shift this polygon just a little bit. I'm so sorry, I'm kind of covering up a little bit. You can kind of see that not quite affecting you guys further south here within this warning, and you can see a lot heavier the further north you go. So let's do a storm track on that, kind of give you guys the very latest. Again, this is moving around 30 miles per hour. So let's do that here. Give you guys the latest. We'll go along the leading edge. Draw that out as best as I can. And still going pretty much southeast. I'm going a little bit further north than that warning does, and we'll go around 32 just in case it tries to speed up just a little bit. Let's take a look at those towns and cities right now. For Murdoch Crossing and Sidon, it's pretty much over you guys right now. Holly Grove 1010, same for Valley Hill. Old Dominion at 1012, and for Malmaison, Shepherdtown 1013, Phillipstown 1014, Morgan City 1015, Centerville 1017, North Carrollton around 1018, then around Seven Pines, Gravel Hill, and Carrolltown 1019, Pine Bluff 1020, and then 1022 for both Oklahoma and Shady Grove. I didn't know we had an Oklahoma, Mississippi. That's a fun one. And then Egypt around 1023, which I can even change this just a little bit, kind of showcase some more cities further along that track, just kind of more populated cities as well, just later on, in case the storm continues pushing all the way through. So Morgan City again at 1015, North Carrollton 1018, Carrollton at 1019, Kruger at 1026, Vaden at 1049, and Lexington at 1102. So this is why we kept talking about it last night, still talking about those soggy, stormy conditions overnight tonight and still kind of into the overnight period ahead. Okay, perfect. I answered your question without realizing it. So y'all wanted to see the storm track. Looks like you enjoyed that. You were able to go to sleep. So yeah, of course, if y'all are not in this severe thunderstorm warning or kind of within this path, y'all are going to be good to go to bed. It's still kind of just our only intense storm ongoing right now. So I want to make that very clear for those guys that kind of just woke up, kind of seeing this and timing that out. So to zoom that out, just to show you all the kind of this perspective of everything I'm talking about, most of North Mississippi is kind of only experiencing maybe soggy conditions if you're getting any rainfall, and those continue to be sub-severe. The only intense part is that severe thunderstorm we're covering out there in Greenwood, continuing further south into the southern portions of the Delta, and that's as intense as we're getting. So hoping to keep that trend continue into the evening hours, but that is what's currently ongoing right now. So not quite going to go throughout the all the 10 o'clock show just yet. I'm going to wait until this warning is pretty much over to keep you guys in the loop. So let's go back, zoom in on this. Looks like somebody coming just ran through a pretty good hailstorm just south of Winona on I-55 and high winds. So yeah, no, winds, I bet you that's it, because that was another one I was going to point out, and you could see a lot of lightning strikes with that storm as well. So yeah, wind and hail continue to be the biggest threat. We're seeing somebody comment about that right now. Somebody's just said heavy lightning around Holcomb. So yeah, these have been very energetic storms, very impressive for this time of the night as well. This is around 10:10 and still kind of feeding off some of that energy, putting on those light shows that I bet some of you guys can witness out in the distance if you are looking towards these storms and not quite being affected by it just yet. So very energetic. I bet the rumbles of thunder continue to kind of keep going into the overnight period. Let's take a look at your wind again, just to make sure we're not seeing any rotation. And of course, if we were to see any of that, it's going to be super high aloft. Again, not impressive. It looks like the storm would try to rotate, but by rotate, I mean a little bit more higher aloft. We're not seeing that down here at the surface. Tornadic threats continue to practically be almost off the table completely. Wind and hail are our biggest threat today. We've seen that all day long. We're going to continue to see that tonight. This is exactly why I said I'd continue to keep my eyes on it late tonight in case a warning got issued. We're seeing that ongoing right now. Now, taking a look at our peak impacts, we can see exactly what that person just commented about. Oh, there we go. Matt's in the comments right now. Keep emphasizing that there's no tornado threat tonight. So thank you, Matt, for continuing to agree with that. Let everybody know, because I know that is a big concern tonight. So you can go to sleep resting easy, knowing that we're not having to deal with that. There's just going to be some hail probably hitting the roof that could wake you up. Some heavy wind gusts if you can hear that howling through the window, and just some heavy rain. But taking a look at our peak impacts again, I know somebody was commenting about some hail that they just drove through just off of I-55 highway. Did they say, I think it was 51 maybe? But you can definitely see those peak impacts out there towards those in Fultz, just south of Winona. A lot of lightning strikes, definitely that hail kind of occurring out there. So hopefully keeping that sub-severe. Would not be surprised if we're getting closer towards that 1 inch in diameter or a little bit more. I know there have been some reports today of hail reaching that golf ball size. So that continues to be a threat tonight. So Matt, I know we're tracking another severe thunderstorm warning, this time in the southern portions of the Delta and getting closer towards Carroll County, which have been in one earlier today, but seems to be very hail heavy yet again.
I think so. And the only reason I popped on is I kind of agree with what you were saying a moment ago on that Winona storm. Like, that's borderline. I mean, that's about as heavy as those have been when they've typically kind of issued those today. I'm curious to see the hail swath on that. Yeah, I mean, in the likely category there. So, I mean, that's, I can't guarantee that they'll issue a warning on that. Have we checked out the camera there in a while?
I checked it earlier. That was when the cell was kind of just south of it. We couldn't really get a good visual.
That's right. And we can't move that one today, right? I think there's an issue with moving that one right now.
I think the Winona one was the one we couldn't move. So when I looked at it a few minutes ago, we didn't see any flashes, but you look like you have the magic touch. So definitely putting on the light show.
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of ratcheting that back up. It's going through that phase where it's got more ice in it. That's where again that hail threat's coming in. So yeah, that's more lightning again. Picking up on that one as well. And I think the direction this is looking, I think it's looking toward west. So this is looking toward that severe storm to the west, all the way on the kind of the right behind you there. And then to the left would be where the actual storm itself is. We can't actually get, I think, all the way around to that. I'm just going to double check, make sure we can't move it. No, it's not moving. That was worth a try to see if maybe we could jostle it loose.
Ooh. I mean, these are bright strikes.
So, hopefully one of them doesn't take out the camera. That happens from time to time. But as you mentioned, that's a lot of lightning on that one there. I wonder if, Ackerman's been so good for this tonight. I think, earlier on as well, perhaps we can get a shot there in Ackerman. Now, this is looking right now. I think
Oh,
this
there
is
we
still
go.
looking west
Yeah, we got
out of
a
Ackerman. We
strike.
might
Yeah,
need
we're
to,
seeing it on the very edge.
we need to go to the right a little bit
Yep.
more. Come over here. We'll catch actually both storms with this over this direction here toward the horizon. So they're both kind of perfectly aligned up with where this camera is there.
Mm-hmm. Wonder if it'll...
But I'll emphasize the thing that you were saying a moment ago there, which is that there is no tornado threat with this at all tonight. These are going to be hail kind of at worst, depending on exactly what we see there. But I think hail is the main impact. Apparently far enough away that we're not getting as many of those lightning strikes. But yeah, on a True Shield hail threat, that one, and then obviously one back west. You mentioned the rotation on it. No real rotation of significance on this main severe thunderstorm warning here. Any kind of reds and greens, it's mainly just the base velocity. The winds coming out of that are still kind of the story. It's what all the green is here. It's kind of the direction toward the radar site in Jackson. Generally speaking, toward it. I mean, it's way down there at the bottom, so it's a long ways away. But it's mainly good old-fashioned bow echo of a strong wind, the main impact with that, and then maybe some hail.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what somebody said earlier in our comments with that kind of little cell out there in Winona. Said it was very windy as well with that kind of little hailstorm that moved on through, which was impressive with the cell of that caliber. So I can only imagine how windy this little Boeing segment is kind of as it continues pushing on through.
And oops, let me make this a 1 hour loop because that was looking longer there. You had a lot more hail out of this Greenwood storm just a few minutes ago. You can see there was more of the kind of those black returns for a little while there. Let me go ahead and bring it to now. Let's do it shorter range on this. 1 minute. And you go back there, even north of Vitabina, and northwest of Sunflower and Ruleville. That's where this had more hail, that kind of black return there, black and purple. That's when they issued the warning. Now it's more wind is kind of blowing forward, but then the hail, this Winona storm, has some of that there. So I think a lot of that's trying to fall out of that right now. So no official warning for Montgomery County. They put a special weather statement out on that, I think, as much as they've done, and that was still 9:50, so they have not updated that since then. Kind of looking at that. So, yeah, I think it's really just kind of those, and kind of address the elephant in the room that everyone in North Mississippi keeps, asking about. I mean, I think one of the things that they sometimes wait for is that, can you go to sleep? Yes, I would say that, everybody, could we get some rumbles out toward Tupelo or Boonville or Corinth or Holly Springs later on tonight? Yeah, I think that's entirely possible. But we're probably not talking severe weather. We're definitely not talking tornado. I think we've shown this graphic every time we had the opportunity today, and we'll just show it again. There is no tornado risk on it. Promise you that graphic is working. The severe weather risk now limited level 1, so only expecting a couple of very isolated reports of anything. Wind, not necessarily what we're dealing with. Certainly not destructive wind. Maybe some sporadic wind gusts and sporadic hailstones on our True Shield hail risk there. So, yeah, all that to say, I think, it is the wind that you're tracking there is the main story. And then it wouldn't be shocking to have some hail reports coming out of locations there between Kilmichael and, I've not done a storm track on this in the last few minutes. Probably should get one there because that's moving right toward Kilmichael. God, they're just creeping though. You're tracking, the rain will outpace this, but I mean, we going too fast to go 15?
I would say for that one, I don't think that's out of the equation. The severe thunderstorm warning was surprisingly moving at 30. I was kind of impressed.
Now that I believe, because it looks more like a bow echo.
Yep.
This one, if I track it hail core to hail core, about 18 miles per hour. So that's. So anyway, I'll track that hail up in 18, if it goes that way. So Kilmichael about 10:32. So we have about 10, 12 minutes. I'm thinking some of that decent sized hail is falling out of that right now. So anyway, not officially a warning, but I think there's at least some hail in that, at least based on kind of what we've seen tonight. I'm not really convinced that this storm out here toward Greenwood is quite as, I wonder if it'll let me press play on that while I'm still doing the track. Look at that, so we can get that angle just right. It's pulled a little bit farther east. Where'd they go? 30 miles an hour? Yeah,
There we
there's your new
go.
warning. So that'll encompass both of those there. So this is the new warning for severe thunderstorm warning there. That includes, what is that, Atala, parts, let's move that down. Atala and Choctaw and Montgomery, Carroll County. Does it clip Holmes County there? Yeah, it does clip Holmes County. So wind, I'd say the main impact with that, I think that's what they mentioned, 60-mile-per-hour wind, 1-inch hail in that discussion. So on your stream deck in front of you, Caleb,
Yes,
if you click the Caleb button on that,
Okay.
you should have a whole bunch of things there to be able to kind of tweak what you need to do, from you at the wall to you at the BAM, to the two in the upper right there. You should have the ability to pull up the chat there. Do you on that?
Let's see.
You might not. I'll add that chat there as well. I'll pull it up for you, and then I'll add it to the middle of that for you. Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
It'll go in that middle spot. Okay, perfect. All right, well then let's continue looking at this severe thunderstorm warning. This is the one that just got issued, so we'll have the chat pulled up for you guys. That way we can continue answering any questions. But real quick, I want to run through these cities as that warning continues to expand a little bit further eastward as it continues shifting that direction. Very windy. So North Carrollton around 1022, Carrollton around 1023, Gravel Hill 1024, Coila around 1030, McCarley 1030 as well, Sawyer 1042, Winona around 1043, Fox 1052, along with Wiltshire. Vaden around 1055. I know you guys were kind of one of the first cities we talked about earlier today. Beatty around 1104. Poplar Springs 1106, Poplar Creek at 1109, and Carmack around 1113. So I know a bunch of you guys are curious about maybe Columbus, Mississippi. I know the Golden Triangle region. A few of y'all were asking about Clay County. Again, just want to keep emphasizing that these storms are primarily out west, and we're seeing them continue to shift further southwest or southeast, excuse me. And so not quite going to make it to you guys out there in Columbus or Clay County right now. But like Matt just said, I mean, could you hear a rumble of thunder overnight? Absolutely. Are we expecting anything tornadic? Not at all. So for those questions out there in the Golden Triangle region, not quite seeing anything intense. We're continuing to monitor this one out here at this moment. So very windy, a lot of hail associated with it as well. And that storm continues moving on through. So let's see, now that we're just a little bit behind, we can do another track on that, or I can clear that up for you guys so we can get the latest visual. And no, actually, Matt, you may have been working on that behind the scenes. I can let you keep playing with that if you needed to draw whatever you wanted. But this severe thunderstorm warning continues to be the only warning that is ongoing right now here in North Mississippi. The most intense storm that we can see, not quite seeing that within the Golden Triangle region, Clay County, towards Lowndes, even for some of our Alabama counties as well. I know you guys have been curious seeing if y'all are going to get some of that rainfall. It's entirely possible later on tonight, just not quite seeing that intensity at this moment right now, Matt.
Okay, so in this scenario, we want to kind of go wide here, give kind of a wide shot there, make sure to kind of show again, kind of set the stage, and then you'd reset and just kind of give an overview of where things are. So like, I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon alongside our cable Abetta Blute. To address those things, the go to sleep, you can go to sleep in Corinth, Iuka, Tupelo, Boonville, Amory, Aberdeen, Columbus. We're all in good shape, and there is no tornado threat with any of this. This is really kind of an isolated locations back south and west here. And then from there, you kind of do an overview on what it is, and make sure to have a loop, show query the warnings involved, get a storm track on what it is, hit wind on velocity, hit hail, then check comments, and then maybe hit some cameras, come back and do another check, storm track again, then maybe go a little wider, and then start the loop again is probably kind of the angle I'd take on that.
Perfect. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. And at some point in there, I'll get that. I'm still working on getting that chat button up.
Perfect. Sounds good to me. All right. Let's continue taking a look at the severe thunderstorm warning, because since we did just go wide and kind of showcasing all of North Mississippi, again, this continues to be the most intense threat kind of right now, still showcasing that wind and hail. Tornadoes continue to not be a part of the threat. So for, honestly, pretty much any of y'all here in North Mississippi, y'all are good to go to bed. It's just whether or not you'll be woken up to kind of that hail ongoing tonight, those rumbles of thunder. That's about it. We're not expecting any tornadoes tonight. So as long as you're good with some wind and hail occurring throughout the overnight period, especially right here. That's kind of ongoing. But a few rumbles of thunder can't be ruled out. This continues to be the most impressive storm ongoing. So let's bring it back to now. Take the latest look at that. We're going to see that warning kind of continue to get shaved off. This one currently ongoing for those out there in Carroll, Mississippi, Montgomery, Mississippi, even into Webster, parts of Choctaw, and you still got a ways to go until that storm makes it to you guys, and even into Atala and Clipping Holmes as well. So you are the guys that are currently included within the severe thunderstorm warning that is ongoing right now. Taking a look at our threats, just to kind of showcase what we're talking about with that wind and hail. Again, this is kind of what we're talking about. This kind of bowing segment Matt was talking about continues to be very wind heavy too. We've seen some embedded hail. I think we've kind of seen that trend a little bit down. It's not as persistent as it was. But one of the things we've noticed with a bunch of the cells and storms moving through today, they just kind of don't like to give up. So keeping our eye on that just in case, but definitely windy, definitely heavy rain, and that hail potential is still possible with that kind of bowing segment you just saw moving through the severe thunderstorm warning. Another thing I want to point out is that cell just kind of moved through just south of Winona across I-55, dumped a lot of hail out there. You can see those darker returns with that purple just showcasing not really possible, but pretty much probable of that hail fall continuing to occur and kind of move on out. So definitely just a lonely cell just kind of popping up for you guys, dropping that hail and moving on out. So, but speaking of, let's see if we can get a look on that Winona cam now, especially after it moved on out. Let's see kind of once this catches on up, and let me clear this for you guys. Still see those flashes of lightning. I think one just occurred. There we go. 64 degrees out there, still feels like 64, but pretty much putting on a light show. So hopefully you guys are pretty much staying inside, kind of enjoying the rain. And Matt, I'd be curious to see what your take on this is. If we could argue that maybe that's like a wall cloud trying to move through the area. I'd have to see on your tab which direction it's facing.
I think that's a shelf cloud.
I think that's kind of a shelf cloud moving on through.
Yeah, it looks detached. Like the reason it looks, the dark on the top isn't it. Down low is the light. That's the cloud. Like the lighter back part of it there is some kind of like a shelf or cloud on outflow, I would say. Looking at, and especially if I'll get all the way up here because I'm in front of it kind of right there. But you can see how, so there's Winona right there, right? And so we're kind of looking back west into the leading edge of that storm and the wind and everything with it. So I would say that's probably a shelf cloud.
Yeah. No, I'd agree. But yeah, an impressive shot. Yeah, impressive shot out there in Winona, still showcasing those lightning strikes and just putting on that light show out there. So definitely could wake up to some rumbles of thunder if you guys are tuning in with us right now. Again, I'm meteorologist Caleb Edelblut here with our chief meteorologist Matt Laubon working aside, keeping you guys updated as the severe thunderstorm warnings continue to kind of pretty much continue across North Mississippi. Let's take another look out here in our Ackerman camera because like Matt said, it's done us pretty well throughout the day, and we can still see some of those flashes of lightning a little bit more prevalent now that it gets a little bit closer towards you guys out there in Choctaw. Kind of saw it light up just a little bit off there in the distance. See if we can get another one before moving on out, just showcasing kind of how far it is, but how you can still see those lightning strikes from quite a ways away. So still very energetic storms. You see that kind of happening around the horizon off in the distance. But those are probably, yeah, there you go. I mean, just right kind of powerful strikes continuing to bother us here in North Mississippi, waking us up, and could unfortunately affect some power outages as well. That's something I looked at earlier, which I'll have to keep an eye on as well after I get done monitoring radar, which I was going to go check the Atala camera, but that we can't really move. It's pointed towards the church. So definitely some good visuals on that thunderstorm ongoing right now. Go back towards the latest scan and come back towards our precipitation. Just kind of see how it looks now as that storm continues moving on through. I mean, still very impressive little cell moving on just east of Winona. I already kind of crossed that I-55 corridor, continue to move further out east. This Boeing segment continues to push further on southeast, so not following the same motion. And speaking of that, that's another kind of important fact to kind of explain to you guys on why we're not experiencing anything tornadic today. Our direction of storms continue to push either just straight east if a storm is fortunate enough, but pretty much southeast. And with that motion, it's more kind of hail-driven, wind-driven, not really seeing that tornadic threat. We need to see them kind of go that more northeastern trajectory, which is typically typical here in North Mississippi. But with this system and setup, that's why we're not confident on that tornado risk and why it's practically non-existent. It's just not going in the right direction, and we don't have the right setup for it to occur. So with these continue to be very hail-based, very wind-heavy, but we can zoom back out since we continue covering that severe thunderstorm warning. For all of you guys here in North Mississippi, I mean, practically any of you guys can go to sleep tonight, whether or not you feel comfortable doing so. We're not expecting anything tornadic, not experiencing any tornadoes tonight. We're just experiencing some of these stronger storms producing some hail, some hefty wind gusts could wake you up with these rumbles of thunder. But if you're good waking up to some thunder, maybe hearing some hail hit the roof, then you're going to be good to go to sleep for the rest of the night. That is the extent of what we're experiencing, and still impressive that it's kind of performing like this during the 10:30 hour tonight. So still kind of seeing that move through the southern portions of the Delta, getting closer towards those out there in Montgomery, closer towards Atala, even clipping into Choctaw, into Webster County, and even barely into the most northern portions of Holmes. But that continues to be the most extensive portion. Could you still hear some rumbles of thunder out there in the Golden Triangle region? Columbus, Aberdeen, Amory, Tupelo? Sure. I mean, I wouldn't even go as far north as Tishomingo County right now just because of how dry y'all continue to be. But it's not out of the question. But anything intense, anything tornadic, that's not occurring tonight. So pretty much all of you guys are good to fall asleep tonight. Head to bed. Do not stay up. You can go to sleep, pretty much not have to stress. You're get ready for the work week tomorrow. It's just kind of some of these stronger storms just dumping that heavy rainfall, some heavy wind gusts, and some heavy hail as well. So that continues to be the main threat.
Have we hit any of the rest of the broadcast yet? Or are we still?
No, I
still
started
first
the 10, so I'm on the playlist. It's just I wasn't going to kind of get off of the warning as it was going on, but I have it loaded if you want me to start going through it.
Okay, give me just a minute here. We'll take a quick break. We'll get that ready, and I'll let you kind of launch into that. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, we'll be right back.
When something this big comes crashing into your life, it's not just metal that takes the hit. It's your time, your health, your future. And the companies behind it, they're already protecting themselves. You need someone who knows how to stand up to them. I'm Casey Lott. If you've been injured in a truck accident, call me today.
I'm your retirement fear, but don't be scared. You're still in pre-tirement.
Does that mean I have more time to plan?
Precisely. This is pretirement.org.
This isn't scary. I'm doing it.
For the first time anywhere, a digital-only weather source has been nominated for not one, but 2 Emmy Awards. This is the 25th nomination I've been humbled to receive over the years, and while accolades are great, we're just proud to deliver the weather coverage that you deserve. Thank you, North Mississippi, for supporting us here at Mississippi Live.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Caleb Edelblut.
Perfect, I guess right. Well, welcome to Mississippi Live Weather at 10, or at least a special edition. We're now at 10:30 tonight. We've been tracking a severe thunderstorm warning. I'm meteorologist Caleb Edelblut here with our chief meteorologist Matt Laubon, working behind the scenes, helping me kind of continue keeping you guys updated tonight as these severe thunderstorm warnings continue moving on through. But wanted to start that 10 o'clock broadcast because I know we're ready to go to sleep. Pretty much all of us can. Just want to get you ready for kind of the overnight period and what tomorrow looks like. So like our headlines are showing, isolated showers and storms, they continue to persist. We're seeing that severe thunderstorm warning out there in the southern portions of the Delta. But on the bright side, once these storms move on out, we have a beautiful start to the work week. That's going to be for your Monday and pretty much into your Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Just a beautiful work week in general. And we're finally enjoying dry and calm weather, and just kind of a much more mild weather pattern is in store for us here. It's been very active lately. We're currently still in that active period as of tonight, but finally making that transition into tomorrow, and definitely be well rewarded after everything we've gone through. Now take a look at your Doppler radar. I'm not noticing a warning, so wondering if they canceled that. We were talking about those severe thunderstorm warnings out there towards the southern portion of the Delta. There we go. I just think we clicked off of it. So I was about to be a little confused. It did not look like it changed that much, but we're still taking a look at that severe thunderstorm warning further out there in the southern portions of the Delta. Kind of already moved through some of those cities we were highlighting earlier, especially for Jefferson, Avalon, Money, Craigside. It's currently over North Carrollton, Centerville, Seven Pines, and it's going to continue to push further and further south east as that line and kind of Boeing segment continues to move. It was closer towards that maybe 30 miles per hour is what we had originally. So if it continues on that track, Matt's giving you the latest storm track here behind the scenes to kind of give us a visual. We even saw that kind of smaller cell produce some hail through the Winona region after crossing I-55. But even the latest look on the Boeing segment that continues to push on through North Mississippi, I can step out of the way and kind of step on the other side of that line that continues to move on through. So Blackhawk around 1037, Sawyer 1043, Winona 1046, Fultz for 1049, Fox 1050, Hendricks 1056, Baden at 1057, Betty around 1103, Kilmichael 1103 as well, Poplar Springs 1108, Carmack 1112, Mount Hermon 1112, and then Huntsville around 1119 as well. So still talking about some of these storms continuing to push on through. Even for the next 40 minutes, you could still start to hear some of those rumbles of thunder, those heavier wind gusts. That will continue to be the story into the overnight period. But again, this is as intense as it's going to get. We're not talking about a tornado threat tonight. So what I want to keep mentioning, no matter where you are here in North Mississippi, as long as you're fine with some heavy wind gusts, maybe some hail moving on through and just some heavy rain, you're fine to go to bed. We're not talking about any tornadoes. You are good to go. Get ready for your Monday morning tomorrow. Just a few of these kind of rumbles and just a little bit stronger storms moving on through, not producing any tornadoes. So let's take a look at your first 12 because this continues to be the story. Those overnight storms continue pretty much throughout the overnight period, thankfully dwindling into the early morning hours. Latest model runs between the 9 and 10 o'clock show kind of show those soggy conditions throughout your Monday continue to downtrend and decrease. So definitely a bright side. Could still see a few of those spotty showers as you go about your day tomorrow, but definitely a positive as we continue cooling off towards the low 60s by 5 o'clock. Still could see a few spotty showers. Our morning meteorologist, Maggye McCauley, will be up bright and early with you guys to get you ready for your Monday morning, covering any of those showers before some much anticipated drier conditions are in store by lunchtime tomorrow. Now, what's responsible for this severe weather that we've been talking about today and kind of going through our afternoon and our Mother's Day is this cold front that kind of moved through North Mississippi, providing some lift for these storms. We can see that active severe thunderstorm warning out there in the southern portions of the Delta right now. And thankfully, haven't quite seen too many of these warnings. So again, the risk was very limited. We said that the confidence not quite there with the setup. Now we could see some of those severe threats on the table and be very limited. Thankfully, we continue to see that into the overnight period and hoping to keep it that way as well. So definitely a good sign. But coming back towards our Doppler radar, again, not showing that warning. I'll have to click that warning box, but still kind of showcasing that Boeing segment continuing to push further and further into the southern portions of the Delta, which let me put that on for you guys. That way you can still see what I'm talking about. But still, that's our most intense storm at this moment. And this is actually taking a look from our Monroe County radar. So it's still giving a different visual on it, still showcasing that intensity and just those soggy conditions to pretty much stay along I-55 and just east of it now. So originally it was all west, continues to push further and further eastward to where you could start to see some of those soggy conditions tonight. Could wake up to a rumble of thunder, maybe see some of those flashes of lightning outside if you're still up. But that's about it. Wind and hail, they're the only threats on the table. Thankfully, continue to stay pretty limited. Now, Futurecast, showcasing not much into the overnight period. We're still talking about some of those soggy conditions throughout the overnight period and into your Monday morning tomorrow. But notice, you're not seeing quite as much as what you saw maybe during the 6 o'clock broadcast or the 9 o'clock, kind of what we were showcasing throughout our updates. So thankfully, that drier weather, we're anticipating a lot here lately. It's going to get here a little bit sooner, and hopefully we'll continue to see that verify into the overnight period and for our Monday morning. So going to be a little bit cloudier tomorrow. We're still going to have that moisture lingering, but don't worry, clearer skies are on the way. Just got to wait till your Monday evening before we can really start to enjoy them. Next 24, still showcasing the chance for a few spotty showers, in the early morning hours, starting off in the low 60s for your overnight lows, mid 60s by 9 o'clock, already warming up towards the mid 70s by 3 o'clock, still keeping those partly cloudy, arguably maybe even mostly cloudy skies throughout the day. But thankfully, by the time we're wrapping up our Monday, getting ready for the overnight period tomorrow night, we're talking about clearer skies, and thankfully it's going to be a much more beautiful forecast as we get ready for our Tuesday ahead. Now, coming back to radar, we can still talk about that severe thunderstorm warning ongoing for those out there. Already pushed through North Carrollton, Centerville, those cities we were just talking about. Let's put the latest storm track on it that continues to push further and further southeast towards you guys in the southern portions of the Delta. We take a look at that latest track as it continues moving on through. Latest cities out here on the right. This warning is extended all the way towards 11:15, so still got a bit of time on that warning if it doesn't get reissued. But around Sawyer at 10:40, Blackhawk 10:41, Winona 10:44, Fultz at 10:46, Fox 10:49, Cedar Hill 10:55, along with Hendricks and Sugar Hill. Emory around 10:56, Gilmichael 11:02, and Betty around 11:09. So still seeing these storms continue to move on through, kind of the threat into the overnight period. But again, that threat only wind and hail related, not talking about tornadoes, Matt.
Absolutely, but it's right there on like kind of the doorstep of the folks there in Winona at this time. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon alongside our meteorologist Caleb Bettelblut, tracking these storms into the Winona area. Apologize, I kind of got the kids to bed here, winding things down, but we understand that, again, there's storms. And so Caleb, I've been kind of tracking those. He's been tracking them throughout the entire day, and I've kind of popped on from time to time to help you out. Winona, though, again, we're now less than 5 minutes before this line moves in. We'll take a shot here from our camera in Winona with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers looking kind of directly back into it. As you kind of see on the screen there, it's right next to me. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect there until 11:15. Trying to find a good place to put that. I'm going to stick it right up the top, despite the fact you have a line going right through it. But this is looking into some of the low-hanging stuff. There is no tornado threat with it. Any kind of low-hanging stuff you see here on the front end, this is what we call a shelf cloud. It's the rain-cooled air on the storm kind of coming toward the camera. So it's kind of coming at us like this, right? And so any little dangly stuff is down there low because of the rain-cooled air. Now, it's a lot of lightning, and that's going to cause some power disruptions. That's one thing Caleb will pull up here behind the scenes. We'll take a look at in a moment. But with all the lightning and with the fact we'll have some gusty winds with this, that is something that we do anticipate. Again, some power disruptions from time to time possible here. So for folks there in Winona, and me even in the middle of the screen, you can see a couple of lightning bolts a second ago there as this approached you. So don't be shocked again if those windows rattle, but this is not going to be a situation where we have tornadoes. So I just want to be as clear as we possibly can that there are no tornadoes out of this. Back to Mama Justice Doppler radar. Latest scans now as of 10:41, and again, it is right there on the doorstep of you in Winona. We show some of the largest hail, if it has some hail still with it, kind of behind me there, just out into Carroll County, very near Mississippi Highway 35 there, crossing 35. And it's starting pretty much at the 82-55 interchange there is where the heaviest rainfall is kind of moving into town from the west. So that's going to obviously move in the next couple of minutes. And for locations down to Blackhawk, I saw Blackhawk in the comments a moment ago there. Of course, we're watching for you there and everyone else out. And I'll pull on kind of all that Skycam network thing there. Again, on the Blackhawk area, I'm not impressed by what we're seeing. If we kind of check out the wind mode here, we do have that straight line wind with this kind of pushing in. I'll clear off that track in some of those times for a moment. I know we have some reds and greens next to each other, but that's what's going to happen is you have that shift in wind direction with the strong wind kind of coming this way. I see Faith Evans making the comment, and she is absolutely right. Caleb's been doing a spectacular job with this today. Very thankful to have him part of the team. Hey, wish him congratulations. He should walk across the stage or walk for graduation. I guess it might not be. Is it across the stage at state? I should know the answer to this. It is across the stage. Okay. That's one of those things that with as many Mississippi State grads as I've worked with over the years, I should have that actual. At Kansas, where I went, we didn't walk across the stage. It was out in the middle of the football stadium. So anyway, it's different places. We're excited for Caleb and what this means again for the next steps of his career, and for him to join us full time here on Mississippi Live. That's a big deal for us to be able to add another full-time meteorologist, and blessed to be able to add someone like Caleb to the ranks of what we're trying to do here as well. So Winona right there on the horizon. We're about to be in the rainfall. As we talked a minute ago, we said about 10:44 is when the heavy rain should start hitting. Let's go back to that camera there, and I bet you'll can imagine what's right there just about to hit at this moment. Again, lots of low-hanging stuff. But that rainfall getting really close. Again, the nonstop lightning there in Montgomery County. Severe thunderstorm warning effect until 11:15 for you. Caleb has been looking at the power disruptions, I know, behind the scenes related to that. And I'll bring Caleb back in here for a moment. What are you seeing on power disruptions as of 10:44, almost 10:45?
I'm going to be honest, Matt. I mean, things continue to be pretty impressive. I wanted to take a look at kind of those areas affected, and we saw those power outages go down. But for the counties
Now go
currently
ahead and
affected,
check the individual power cooperatives. PowerOutage.us always lags by about a half hour.
yeah, no,
So,
all
yeah.
those counties affected are energy, and I'm not really seeing any kind of major streets get affected. There was one out here just north of Cleveland, that purple kind of diamond showcasing a street almost within the neighborhood. 1 to 50 customers affected just north of Drew Marigold Road. So I noticed that just north of Cleveland. But the bright side is if you were kind of tuning in with us throughout the day, we've been showcasing kind of some of those streets and just areas of quite a few customers out, and we're not quite seeing that right now. So definitely some good news. Wanted to highlight just a few, and then I think this is the only other portion, just kind of these two purple diamonds as well, along the Natchez Trace Parkway outside of McCool. So those continue to be the only power outages right now. Entergy kind of serves all those Delta counties that are undergoing that severe thunderstorm warning, but very impressive at this moment, Matt.
Okay, yeah, it is. I mean, I'm glad we haven't had more outages. Maybe we'll get lucky enough that continues to hold true there. Current time is now, we're at 10:45. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon alongside our Caleb Edelblut in our downtown Tupelo studios. More raindrops falling on the cameras. We're about to lose visibility there. You can see kind of the smudging of the raindrop there refracting. Again, nearly nonstop lightning strikes with this severe thunderstorm. This will not produce tornadoes. So, so I see someone mentioning Delta Electric and McClary, Mississippi power out at this point here as well. Again, you can join the conversation with us on Facebook and YouTube, all different ways in which you can kind of show up on there. Everyone wishing Caleb congratulations on that graduation. For Belden watching, Judy, I see you there. An example of the difference in the camera up here in the Tupelo area, which shows up with virtually nothing of significance because we are so far away. There will be no storms up here. Belden, you can go to sleep and you're in good shape. I'd say same in Olive Branch. Pittsburgh, you're a little closer to the action there, but still a considerable distance away. No real lightning strikes showing up in the showers that are fairly widespread there. Well, I say that. A few lightning strikes, a lesser quantity of lightning strikes there as well. And then coming down here to Choctaw County. Again, Choctaw County, the western part of the county there is under that severe thunderstorm warning. I'll see if I can get it to, there we go, finally show up with Choctaw. So still got a ways to go before that gets there. You can actually kind of see the shape of the thunderstorm a little bit more from this perspective because we're far enough away to get a look at that. So Choctaw County, kind of on the edge of this, on the edge of that warning there. As we come back to Mama Justice Doppler radar here as of now 10:47. This does extend where it could continue on a path that takes it all the way there to Ackerman. We'll get a storm track on that. Again, I do see this weakening a bit from where it has been, and I'm going to have to expand it out past the hour stretch in order to get it all the way to where you're at least based on its current speed there in Ackerman. Let's go 40 miles. There we are. So we would show... I think I've run out. I have too many places to get Ackerman on there. So Fox right now, Emory at 10:49 there. Obviously, we're in the Winona area. Kilmichael 11:02, going there closer to Beatty at 11:03. Stewart 11:17, and Tom Nolan about 11:26. If we kind of hop ahead here, make that our first. That would get. Let's see, we're at French Camp by about 11:32. Ackerman be 11:55, assuming that it doesn't pick up any additional speed from where it's at right now. The lightning continues to be very constant. Looking at our True Shield hail threat on this, the hail swath, that has been more sporadic on this storm. Honestly, more of the hail that you see there with that pink ahead was with that one storm that was there a little bit ago. So wind remains kind of the biggest issue there. And looking just at the shear, where we look for rotation, something like that, we don't have a lot of that showing up. From this angle. We'll switch it back to our radar site there out of the Jackson area. And again, this is kind of straight line wind, everything that this is producing going along with the lightning strikes that we have. And appreciate everyone from watching in Hatley and Winona. Got full thunder and lightning in Winona right now. Nisha, appreciate that comment there. Kaylee, thank you for watching there in Duck Hill. Hey, Lisa and Faulkner, go to sleep. And of course, Donna up there in Olive Branch, go to sleep. You're in good shape. Caleb's been, again, watching things very, very closely. And Caleb, I know that you've been looking at some of the pictures coming in. You've also been looking at some of the power, kind of trying to assess the overall setup of that, right?
Yes, no, that's exactly right. Again, power outages continue to be very limited. I was trying to look at that delta EPA can't get an outage map, but I appreciate you guys sending that report. Hopefully, because y'all are sending in those reports, they'll get out there, fix that for you guys. But I wanted to showcase some of the pictures you guys have been sending in, because this is a great visual of those storms that we're talking about. Gets us eyes on them as well if we can't get them with our cameras. This was sent in by Michelle out there in Faulkner, just kind of showcasing almost that eerie side of just those darker clouds rolling in as that sun continues to set. You definitely see those heavier rain bands further out towards the right side of the screen you go, and kind of just seeing those clouds continue to protrude in that taller cloud base. So an excellent picture sent in by Michelle out there in Faulkner. And then I also wanted to showcase this one. This was actually Angela out there in Ripley, and you can kind of see almost maybe a shelf cloud trying to form. It's a little bit down here south. Let me see if I can shift this up for you guys just a little bit. There we go. Just kind of showcasing some of those storms continuing to move in towards the Ripley city earlier this evening. So those were some of the impressive storms and kind of shots we got, Matt, of those continuing to move on in from some of our weather watchers pictures. So keeping eyes on that and any reports we can get. But again, I'm still continuing to be very impressed with those power outages. Entergy continues to be the carrier that's pretty much over all those Delta counties we were covering with that severe thunderstorm warning that moved on through. And I'm not seeing anything eye-popping with these outages. And I think I kind of covered all the ones. So you can see kind of some of these purple diamonds here. That showcases 1 to 50 customers affected. So we're starting to see a few of those pop up out there in Winona, just down south, I think closer towards Baden. There you go. I know you guys kind of got some outages earlier, maybe even another round earlier tonight, the past few minutes, and even out there in Carrollton as well. So thankfully, for all the shapes that we could talk about, the purple diamond is the best one because it's only 1 to 50. Once we get into those oranges and blues, it's going up to 200 or more. So thankfully, those outages continue to be very, very limited. And even taking a look at that outage map across the Mississippi, I know it can be delayed, which is why I'm checking each of those. And they continue to stay very, very impressive, Matt. So I'm going to keep my eyes on that as that warning continues to pretty much continue across North Mississippi, stays ongoing, and see if those increase, but hoping to keep those pretty consistently low for the remainder of the night.
That would be the hope, right? Our meteorologist Caleb Edelblut again tracking things in the Tupelo studios at this time. Current time now is at 10:51. You can see a storm track here on a severe thunderstorm warning. The strongest of this has moved through Winona and really honestly locations south of Winona. Once you get down here south of town, closer to Vaden, right kind of in the heart of the strongest portion of this right now. Of course, Vaden, Carroll County under a severe thunderstorm warning until 11:15. Same one for the other locations we were talking about, such as Kilmichael, Huntsville, Mississippi, French Camp on the edge of that, Carmack, in Natala County until 11:15, BD there along 51 in the West community as well. What I'm looking at behind the scenes here is I'm looking on our camera. Oh, I hope that doesn't mean it's gone down. Hold on. Nope. So what I've been looking kind of at our the ability to kind of look at the time lapse here. And we might have. I hope we haven't lost it, but just kind of checking as that line got a little closer, how you could see some of the low hanging clouds and stuff with it as well. So I'm just kind of poking around, looking through that behind the scenes. It's that shelf cloud you kind of see at the horizon there for a moment a little bit ago, then getting closer and getting closer. So again, that's an example of how you can have a lot of ominous clouds that maybe aren't as bad as they end up looking. And in this case, there was just a ton of lightning with that storm. Now, an updated look at what that storm looks like on our again, a camera there, network there with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. This is a live view as opposed to a second ago we were looking at some of the older views as that shelf kind of came closer. It's nearly nonstop lightning there, still in Winona at this time, though I'd say the heaviest portion of this is through where you're at right now. I see April mentioning there in the comments, calm in Burnsville. That sounds accurate. I think, we are good tonight there in Burnsville. Columbus, this storm will not come through where you're at right now, but obviously Winona for Frank and for James down there. I'm mentioning surprised Winona's still up with this May lightning strikes. I am as well. Somebody's got the grounding right on this one. Knock on wood. I specifically keep a little wood table there for that, just in case. Just because you're a meteorologist doesn't mean you're not superstitious. You can do all that stuff at the same time. Anyway, Bring it back here to kind of the wide shot and reset things for a moment. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon alongside our meteorologist Caleb Bettelblut. You're watching Mississippi Live. We're a 24/7 streaming service based out of the Tupelo, Mississippi area on Mama Justice Doppler radar beside me here. We've been tracking some heavy thunderstorms for a good chunk of the afternoon and evening. Most of these, again, below severe limits. I'm going to track a whole grouping of storms here toward the east and southeast. Speed on all of these, we'll say about 30 to 35 miles per hour. Include some storms around Eupora that have not prompted a warning officially there. The yellow boxes indicate the locations where we expect to have the biggest impacts and thus the warnings. But this whole grouping of storms, the north side there could potentially clip Columbus, but the strongest part of this is probably just a little bit to your south, giving this a longer range track for folks that are ahead of this. I'm going to kind of shrink the size of the city involved here for a moment. Well, I guess technically increase the size of the city involved. And we're going to go, let's say 70 miles instead. Nope. Let's go 90 miles. That'll get us through there. So if that were to make it to Columbus on the north side there, based on about the 30 miles per hour, so we're looking at about 12:30 in the morning, there's no reason to stay up with this. These might be some hail. Could be some strong gusty wind. In general, though, you can see how this southern storm's moving a little bit faster, right? How they've almost caught up now, and there was a little bit more of a distance between them initially there, so they're kind of moving in from the northwest. So again, hail, wind, yes. Tornadoes, there is no tornado threat. Just want to make sure we're clear as day on that one. There is no tornado threat with what we're contending with now. And I mentioned a time there a moment ago for, I mentioned Columbus, for example. There are some showers and storms running ahead of that as well. So it's probable you'll have some rain before that. But any of the stronger batch out here closer to Eupora, that's going to take a little longer to get there. But West Point, of course, some lightning strikes, some heavy rainfall sort of moving toward you. Our North Mississippi Storm Chasers camera there in the West Point area, looking out at that. We're going to apparently concentrate on all W cities tonight, it seems like, looking out of that camera, and lightning strikes toward the horizon. Not as many of those. That's probably looking all the way there from West Point, way back toward the storms well to the west. Actually, that might still be the closer storm that's kind of blocking our view of anything that's farther west there based on the part of town where that is. I'll pan to the left just a little bit. Yeah, those ones right at the horizon you see there, those are probably with that storm all the way out there west of Ackerman. So a few little blips of red there closer to the West Point area, but we're largely in pretty good shape there for now. There will be thunderstorms overnight. There will be zero tornado threat on any of these. Our Starkville camera, again, looking west on the west side of town, looking toward those storms, showing the mix of clouds there, but no precipitation in Oktibbeha County yet. Ackerman, again, you're kind of still to the east of this warning, that storm getting closer. You can see the nearly nonstop lightning strikes even aloft there on that storm shows that it's still very electric, very strong. No tornado threat with this. Want to be crystal clear. No tornado threat at all. And if that is one of your concerns, totally get that. But that is the reason we have Weather Call. We do a great job here. I think we do an excellent job of trying to keep you guys informed. But no single person, no single group of people is perfect. That's where Weather Call comes in. It gives you those phone alerts. Say that we're late for whatever reason. Say something goes sideways. You get those weather calls that lets you know, hey, this is a situation we need to get to our shelter. You can get phone calls for tornado warnings. It calls you back for tornadoes when they're confirmed, for damaging severe thunderstorms where we're talking about winds in excess of 70 miles per hour, hail in excess of 1.5 inches, all those sorts of things. You get phone calls, major flash flooding. It does come with a cost. You can find more information right there below. It's what I have for my family, what I recommend for yours as well. I do see Adrian, one of the North Mississippi Storm Chasers behind the scenes, talking about some pretty lightning there. This is a very, very picturesque shot. I'm going to take down our camera network. I usually try to leave up the locations there so I can think through other spots we'd hit. But this is a very picturesque shot, as you can see around the closer storm there, because there were some storms running ahead. The one that had some of that hail initially we're looking at there near Winona on the east side of town. I say initially, there's been about 2 or 3 of these today. But that is this storm there, and that still has some lightning with it. But the really electric one, the severe ones, are the ones just past that. That's why this is like popping over here, and you can kind of see the edge of that storm there, is because that's the closer storm, but this is the stronger storm back behind it. And so the stronger storm still more than an hour away from Ackerman, so that'll kind of be moving again, toward the camera lens here as that gets closer. And then we were, down in the middle of it there in Winona. We'll pop on over to Winona once again, as this is kind of moving toward you or through you at this time, and just kind of in the midst of the heavy rainfall. Still a lot of lightning from all of our folks there. And appreciate you, Anthony. I would trust the first one much more than the second one if I were in your shoes. I appreciate that, though, nonetheless. Slate Springs, I got some questions, coming in from Slate Springs at this point. Again, that storm that's pretty close to you right now. There we are. Again, a lot of lightning with this, heavy rainfall. But the strongest portion of this, again, we're looking at there near Walthall, kind of on the north side of that, and then obviously down south closer to through Winona. Let's go and clear this off. We'll get a new track, but it's basically same time that we've been looking at this here. Continue to move that southeast about. Let's double check the speed on this. We've been going 30. I want to make sure that is an accurate number. Storms have been very slow moving today. 33. So we're looking to probably go 35 miles per hour. It's picked up enough speed for that there. About halfway through our warning right now. Again, checking our discussion with the National Weather Service in Jackson. I do not see any recent updates on this here. No reports coming in. So if you guys have wind damage reports, you can share with us. Please don't hesitate to do that. As this is, your reports tonight are probably what we pass on to the weather services, the only reports they're going to get. It does show that part there near Kilmichael. Again, that was that previous storm. Remember, we're looking at the two storms there from Ackerman. We kind of had the one in the foreground there and the one in the background. We'll go back here to the radar, and I kind of show you that on Mama Justice Doppler radar. But looking at this is the two storms we're talking about. The one over Huntsville. Now, there we are. So Ackerman right there. And so this was kind of the front storm we were looking at. And then this is the one back behind it. I'm not going to get my arms right. This is the one that had all the lightning with it. And then that was the one you could kind of see the outline of. So if we go back to that camera, just for our spotting purposes, kind of a cool shot there. A lot of lightning. Power outages because of lightning are the most likely scenario, that we have not had a ton of power outages. But there's a better shot. I'll step over here to this side for a moment. So again, this is that storm that's there in the foreground we were talking about previously, had some of that hail, whatever's left of that storm. And then that's why you keep getting the outline of the silhouette of this storm here behind me, because that's the one that has the severe weather on the other side. So we're kind of looking through, and every time we get those shots down below, you're seeing the lightning flash from that one there as well. That one's actually from the closer storm. So still some lightning with it. Both are still thunderstorms, but it's that back storm that's just very, very electric, and everything goes with that. I'm going to bring in our meteorologist, Caleb Edelblut, here. Again, he's been watching those power outages. They are slow to come in at this time, I'm assuming, still.
Yeah, no, still very slow to come in. I highlighted those outages that were in Carroll County, only around 23, which is still very good. But what I did want to point out really quickly, Washington County is up to over 1,000 customers out, and that's all within Greenville right now. So showcasing, that's our pretty much highest county within our viewing area here, showcasing those power outages. So I can show you guys here on our map. This is kind of all exclusively within Greenville. You can kind of see kind of those just more red lines, kind of those outages across all the streets here, pretty much in downtown Greenville. So just kind of showcasing that, even those purple diamonds showcasing 1 to 50 people affected within that area, and all those red streets just showcasing the power outages occurring all within Greenville. So that's the very latest I can get you for Washington County. I did also want to highlight for, let me go back because it's one of our counties we were covering earlier. For Newton, there we go. We were talking about those 132 outages that were occurring earlier just north of Decatur. And those are the same outages that were reported with that severe thunderstorm warning that we covered around the 7 o'clock time frame. I think it was when we were wrapping up the 6 o'clock show. So still seeing those outages ongoing out there. So some people still without power for quite a few hours, but I know we did have some other outages within the area that are no longer showing up. So I know they're out there trying to get that back on for you guys as quick as they can. But still, Matt, the reports seem to be pretty good with these power outages. Washington is our highest county as of right now, but we're really not seeing those outages continue to climb, which is very good news to hear.
Yeah, hopefully that continues to be the case, but that could change within the next little bit here. There's a lot of lightning with this. I'm going to shift you over to the chroma key over there,
Okay.
and we'll go from there. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay. We'll reset here again for a moment. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon just after the 11 o'clock hour. You're watching Mississippi Live Weather. We're a 24/7 live streaming service based out of the Tupelo, Mississippi area. Sometimes we have our 24-hour channel rolling with stuff, and we do have severe thunderstorm, tornado warnings, active weather we believe is significant or dangerous enough. We do live coverage and live broadcasts each day, 6:37, 7:30 a.m., and 5, 6, 9, and 10 p.m. So this is kind of a continuation of our 10 o'clock show, which started with the severe thunderstorm warnings that have been now extended here through Montgomery County. Kilmichael for you, southern Montgomery County, east of Vaden, where this probably has a little bit more hail on a Mama Justice Doppler radar. Again, Montgomery County, as well as Carroll County, where that white line is coming in. That's where the hail is probably the largest at this point in time. Our dual pole product here using our True Shield roofing hail threat. That purple that you see kind of on bottom there is at the present time. The one up top was from a previous storm that kind of developed ahead of the line. Never officially, I think, had a warning till the end there. Some hail potentially out of that we did not get a lot of reports with that thunderstorm. And northeast here, I see some comments. And again, you're in the chat here talking back and forth with us. And see that Charlene there mentioned signed up for weather call last week and received the first call tonight for severe thunderstorm warning. That's good to hear, and hopefully we've done a good job of trying to alert you now that you have gotten that information as to what's going on. The storm up closer to Eupora, we haven't spent as much time on. It's kind of on the verge of severe. I think we're probably more 50, 55 mile per hour winds at peak on this. We don't have as much of a hail threat on it. We're going to look at that a couple different ways from all the way in Jackson and then from Monroe County. The closer site does not have as much hail on this, but Caleb, certainly the hail potential could continue to go up on this. I see with the blue here, and I need to double check.
Those are the positive strikes.
That's what I thought. Positive lightning strikes tend to be of greater amperage. And so these are some big boomers. Those probably do cause some power disruptions if it continues like this, right?
Yes, no, that's exactly what I was going to point out. I was kind of impressed with seeing how many positive strikes are kind of ongoing, especially with that cell you just mentioned there. And we actually had somebody in the comments just comment that they just woke up to this cell approaching Eupora. So this is one of the things we kind of kept mentioning the past few minutes and throughout this stream, is that you're good to go to sleep for no matter where you are here in North Mississippi. Tornadoes are not on the table. We're not going to experience any tornadoes tonight, but you could wake up to some rumbles of thunder if some of these storms make their way closer towards your city. We saw, I believe it was Roxanne in the comments commenting that and waking up out there in Eupora. And I mean, you can see exactly why. Matt's showcasing those kind of blue color lightning strikes you can see here. That signifies those positive strikes. They come just from higher up in the cloud, kind of the very top of the clouds all the way down to the ground. So a little bit stronger, technically more rare, but that storm is almost exclusive positive strikes, which is kind of strange to see and just kind of showcasing how strong it is. So let's zoom out real quick. Again, I'm meteorologist Caleb Edelblut here with our chief meteorologist Matt Lawon. We're tracking the severe thunderstorm warning continuing into more of our viewing area. We're tracking it currently ongoing in Carroll, Mississippi, and even into Montgomery. But the counties that are also included are Attala and even into Choctaw, and I believe, even Webster as well. So those continue to be the counties undergoing that severe thunderstorm warning at this time. No matter where you are here in North Mississippi, again, you're good to go to bed. It's just if you're willing to sleep during some hail, some heavy wind, could hear that howling through the window, wake up to a few rumbles of thunder. That's about it. That's the peak threat that we're going to experience tonight. You're still good to go. Start to get ready for your Monday morning tomorrow. So let's take a look at the severe thunderstorm warning ongoing within our viewing area down here. Again, continues to kind of move on through. Let's take the latest track on this that we're kind of lapsed so we can get a good track on that for you guys. So I'll shift that over just a little bit so y'all can see the latest and then where it's going. So yeah, okay, that's exactly how I was going to draw it. All right, let's do that. Then, oops, there we go. And then we'll press this one right here. So let's get the latest kind of track on this as it's getting closer towards the end of that warning for you guys. continuing to shift kind of further southeast. We're going still, I'd go around 30 miles per hour. We'll take a look at those cities that it's going to start to affect. So Carmack pretty much right on top of you guys right now. Poplar Creek 11:11, Mount Herman 11:12, Stewart at 11:15, Huntsville 11:21, Shady Grove 11:22, Liberty Chapel 11:28, Pierce's Chapel 11:32, Byway 11:36, McCool 11:43, Ware at 11:44, Williams 11:46, and Ackerman, if it continues kind of pushing closer and closer towards you guys, still around that 11:50 mark. So, I think I pressed the wrong button over there. Over here.
No, that's me.
Chroma.
So a pronunciation on that one, by is what I've been told. BYWY is byway.
What did I call it? Did I call it byway? Or what?
Byway.
Byway. Byway. There we go.
That's okay. That's one. It took me a few years, so while I heard it, I figured I'd go ahead and shout it out.
I appreciate it. I'm trying to learn those up front so we can make sure to say them the right way on the front end. So yeah, definitely still seeing that storm continue to push on through, keeping that intensity. These severe thunderstorm warnings continue to continue into the evening period with this severe thunderstorm. So continuing with those lightning strikes, continuing to ramp on up. We can get another visual on this with our Ackerman camera as it's now getting closer and closer towards you guys out there. Still reaching around 11:50 time frame. Block that off just a little bit. I mean, but take a look at the light show that it's putting on. So still quite a ways away, but you can see that storm quickly approaching you guys, kind of showcasing kind of just the strength of this storm as it gets closer towards you guys. So still a very strong storm further out west from Ackerman, but it continues to maintain its strength. And you can kind of see here, I'm covering it up, the bottom left of your screen, we're starting to see some of those rain showers get within y'all's county and just north of you guys. So starting to see some of those rain showers make their way into northern Choctaw County, and that will continue as the storm continues getting closer and closer towards you guys. Let's see if we can get another visual on everything. Let's go back towards our radar, see what we're looking at here. Winona, Eupora. I know y'all were commenting earlier about waking up to that storm, so you can definitely see why those lightning strikes continue to increase, and you can definitely see that cell over you guys. We're taking a look. Which radar are we looking out of? Okay, the Jackson one. We'll keep it here. Take a look at your threats. Again, tornadic or any tornadoes continue to not be a threat tonight. Let's take a look at your peak impacts. Hail continues to be pretty much the heavy threat that we've experienced all day long here at North Mississippi. You see those darker purples just showcasing that increased confidence of that hail potentially, probably happening. It goes potential with those lighter pinks, more probable with those darker shades as that severe thunderstorm continues pushing on through into Montgomery, Mississippi, and getting closer and closer towards Choctaw, and pretty much right on the county line for Attala as well. So wind and hail continue to be those peak impacts. Tornadoes not going to be an impact tonight. So as long as you're good with wind and hail, you're still good to go to sleep. You don't have to stay up late with us here.
Absolutely. Okay, so your Stream Deck should be set up and working better. If you look down there, I have it in on your thing there. So if you hit your button, you should be able to hit, whether you want to, bring up the chat there where you're at, chat on Chroma, and then, BAM and all the other stuff. All those sort of things should be correct on there as well. So you can double check me, kind of play your way through it to see if it works up there. Each one of them you'll have to punch in on yourself if you're trying to do that.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think I see it.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and give it a spin. I'll let you try to move things around.
Well, here goes nothing. Let's press the button. See if we can pull that up. There we go. Look at that. He got that set up perfectly for you guys, so we can still pull up the chat, keep you guys in the loop, and answer any questions you guys have. Still see my buddy Adrian in the comments, a good friend of mine with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. But yeah, we're still talking about that severe thunderstorm warning ongoing, getting closer towards you guys out there, towards the Ackerman community. We're just looking towards that camera, kind of towards that storm, that light show ongoing. So still seeing those peak impacts with that hail and wind. Those continue to be the only impacts tonight. We're not talking about anything tornadic. If we were, we'd start to see some of those red colors start to pop on up. And we're not seeing that. Still purple, still green, darker shades of purple, showcasing that hail continues to be the main threat. Catching up on the chat, looks like Adrian and Taylor are having a fun time with my byway comment. But I'm learning, so I'm getting all the cities right. But still, very energetic storms. I mean, I keep talking about these lightning strikes. It was around the 660 mark just a few minutes ago. We're now all the way up towards 690. So still showcasing this is a very healthy storm. Even, I mean, you could still say kind of fully developed or even still maturing just with how energetic these continue to be. Not really seeing that downtrend just yet. Just went down 2. Hopefully we can continue to see that as it gets closer towards you guys out there in Choctaw. But again, this continues to be our most impactful storm. But zooming back out, going back towards our precipitation here in Jackson. Let's go back towards precipitation here. The further south you go, we can see those more intense storms. We'll go back towards our Monroe County radar. You can see those soggy conditions starting to make their way further east towards you guys. I know a lot of y'all have been asking questions about maybe West Point, Golden Triangle region, Monroe County, into Lowndes for some of our counties out there in Alabama. Those soggy conditions, they're making their way to you guys. Hopefully not quite going to be as intense. And I just said that. It looks like that severe thunderstorm warning got canceled. So almost right on time. Let me just make sure. Yeah, I think that's definitely a good sign. So we're seeing that warning just got canceled. Hopefully we won't see another one get reissued. Let's go back down towards the Jackson radar, back towards precipitation, zoom back in. But definitely a good sign. So hoping to see that continue. Maybe they'll extend it, but definitely a good sign to kind of see that warning not there anymore. But still going to be loud, energetic storms moving on through regardless, still maybe potentially dropping that hail. But the good news is not quite meeting that severe criteria anymore, which needs to be an inch in diameter or more. So if it is starting to drop some hail or continuing to drop some, not quite meeting that severe criteria. So definitely some good signs there. And that also means the wind not quite reaching that 58 miles per hour criteria either. So hopefully a good thing. Yep, Michael mentioning that out there, the warning drop. So very excited. And Luke out there, I think that's my Luke. So very excited to see you in the comments and checking in with me and Matt here as we continue to keep you guys updated. So appreciate all of you guys staying up and watching us. But like I want to keep mentioning, as much as I love having you guys in the comments, asking any questions, curious to see what's all going on, y'all are good to go to bed. It's nothing tornadic. We're not experiencing any tornadoes tonight, just kind of a few of these rumbles of thunders, or honestly quite a few rumbles of thunders with how energetic these storms continue to be. So just some light shows ongoing outside the window, a little bit windy outside the window as well, kind of howling, but that's about it. So these threats continue to be very minimal. I'll pop that up again, just showcasing those darker purples, showcasing the hail and those darker purples, a little bit more confidence, and these lightning strikes. I mean, take a look at those blue colors you're starting to see there. That's a bunch of those positive strikes we mentioned earlier, just showcasing the strength of the thunderstorm. That latest scan, I think, just got darker. I looked away for 1 second. So still showcasing hail continues to be the biggest threat here with these severe thunderstorm warnings, lack thereof right now, hoping to keep it that way. Would not be surprised if maybe we saw another one if it kind of keeps going this way, especially with that latest trend showing those darker returns, as that's now pretty much along the Atala County line. So starting to affect you guys out there just north of Shady Grove. We can go back towards precipitation, give y'all the latest storm track on that as it continues moving on through. We give y'all latest loop. I know I'm covering up just a little bit, but that way I can do a storm track for you guys. So still kind of going that southwest or southeast motion, excuse me. Let me draw that out for you guys. I'm still going to go 30 miles per hour. I'll get that right on the leading edge. We can do that. That way we still have that moving on in. So still around 30 miles per hour. I'll move this over for you guys. Zoom that out. That way you can kind of see where it's heading and what time it's going to make it towards you guys. So still Huntsville pretty much within the next few minutes around 11:24, Williams 11:27, Liberty Chapel 11:33, French Camp 11:34. I know some people sent in videos of some hail that you guys received earlier today. Sturgis 11:44, Chester 11:47, Ware and 11:47. I know that one. Ackerman 11:55, so a little bit later, but still kind of pushing that 11:50, 11:55 mark for you guys. Craig Springs 11:58, Kerr around midnight into those early AM hours with some of those overnight showers. High Point at 12:06 and Ford at 12:10. So these showers continue moving on closer towards you guys and your communities. Thankfully, a little bit less intense, hopefully. Not seeing that severe thunderstorm warning, or at least not seeing that criteria as well. So definitely some good news. It looks like you guys, I see a comment, Janice saying she's going to sleep. That is definitely good news. Hope you guys can continue to enjoy y'all's overnight periods. Just going to be some rumbles of thunder. That's about it. Maybe you can hear some hail hitting your roof if you're one of the unfortunate cities kind of getting hit by one of the stronger storms. But again, wanted to zoom out here as a whole for North Mississippi. Not all of us are seeing that rainfall. The further north you go, we're talking about those drier conditions already. And it's already very exciting to kind of see those drier conditions return here to North Mississippi, hoping to see those brighter and just clearer skies start to return here. Just got to get through these soggy conditions first until we can really start to enjoy them. So we're getting closer towards where those hail reports were submitted earlier. The hail, yeah, I think it almost 2 inches out there in the eastern portion of Attala County. This was around 5:09. So unfortunately, y'all got kind of that more intense hail earlier today. Let's see if I can, well, it won't clear on out. Let's see if I can do it this way. What if I just click you again? Interesting. Let's see. What if I switch to this? Matt, do you know how to clear? Usually I just have to press the corner of this and it kind of just goes back down. But the report won't do it. Actually, oh my goodness. Let's see. I guess I could just take off reports, but I'd rather keep the hail icons on there. I can do that and it pops off, but then once I bring it back on, it'll still keep that on. So I'll just have to remember to turn that back on in a few minutes, and especially when Matt gets back. But let's test it one more time. Okay. Well, we'll keep that off. But taking a look at those soggy conditions, continuing to get closer towards the Golden Triangle region, not impressive anywhere near where it was earlier. So definitely a good sign. We can even backtrack this just a little bit to show kind of where we've been for the past hour here, kind of showcasing those severe thunderstorm warnings, those brighter kind of returns with those brighter colors, just showcasing that intensity. We're not quite seeing that as it travels further east. So definitely a good sign. The further west we go was the area to continue watching, as y'all were in that level 2 risk. Just had a little bit more ingredients further out west compared to the further east you go. Kind of already seeing that start to take effect as we're getting closer towards midnight. So hoping to see these storms continue that downward trend. Very exciting to see as it gets closer towards Choctaw County. So we can go zoom back in on that for you guys. Make sure to check the comments as well to make sure you guys are good. Yard looks flooded already. This is Eupora. I know you guys were going through a dumpage of that cell earlier on. Okay, James just sent in a time lapse in our main chaser chat. So hopefully we can get that pulled up behind the scenes as well. Very exciting to see. Looks like we have Jake in the comments as well. Very excited to see you in the comments. He's my forecasting professor at State, so he's helped me kind of learn how to forecast for you guys, nail these, and make sure I'm giving y'all the best information possible. So excited to see him tuning in so he can see all the hard work I've been putting in throughout the semester and giving that for you guys out here. So let's take a look. The Golden Triangle region, we're kind of seeing a little blip almost pop up out there towards West Point. So starting to see a little bit of those heavier showers. Let's go back just a little bit. It's just kind of on its own, just doing its own thing. Not really seeing any lightning with it. So nothing you'll wake up to out there in West Point at this moment. We are starting to see some of those brighter returns out here in North Attala County. So could see some hail try to fall with this, but hopefully that's just kind of some brighter, heavier rainfall occurring right now. We can go take a look at our threats. Again, that hail threat continues to be the most prominent one, but even now we're not looking at those darker purple. So hoping to see that continue. Let's make sure I'm at the latest time frame. There we go. I had a glitch for a second. We're still talking about those positive strikes with those blue positive strikes. There we go. We got meteorologist Gabe Maynor in the chat as well. Very exciting to see Gabe tuning in this evening as well. So I hope you're doing good, and especially celebrating Mother's Day with the new mom and new child. So very exciting this evening, and I know y'all have had a great day as well. But taking a look out there in North Attala County, still showcasing those positive strikes ongoing pretty much along the county line. That's about it. So definitely probably waking you guys up In case y'all are just now tuning in, I'm meteorologist Caleb Edelblut, joined by our chief meteorologist Matt Laubon, tracking these thunderstorms continuing to move through North Mississippi. Thankfully, not talking about a severe thunderstorm warning at this time, hoping to keep it that way. But if we go back to precipitation, kind of seeing some brighter returns, a little bit of that intensification. Those lightning strikes just shy of 700, but they just went down to, hoping we don't cross into that 700 marker territory, which I keep covering up with my head. We're up to 698. Would not be surprised if we cross it, but I'll keep my eyes on that. But that is the good news, because if we start to see those strikes continue to decrease, then that means we're going to start kind of seeing those the health of the storm decrease as well. So now down to 695. I'll zoom out. It will include more storms, which means more lightning. So don't be alarmed since we did cross the 700 mark, but that's just because we're looking at a greater area as well. So now for my friends down there in the Golden Triangle region, I know you guys were in the comments a lot earlier asking if y'all are going to start getting those showers and storms. We said it'll eventually make its way towards you guys. Thankfully, a lot kind of just less intense than what we were tracking earlier out there in the southern portions of the Delta. So still very energetic. As you can see, all those lightning strikes continue to move on through. So definitely some heavy showers continue to get closer towards you guys. And y'all could probably start seeing actually a few of those strikes out there with our west camera out there in Addison. Let's see if we can get a visual on that here, if this will load in, if it's facing the right direction, which I can already tell if we're looking, we see those bright lights, that means we're looking towards Starkville. So not quite, we might be able to see some lightning strikes behind me. Let's see if those will start loading. I know this is probably facing more towards the city since we can see the skyline out there, but you can definitely tell those lightning strikes are occurring just to the left of this camera and a little bit behind as well. So definitely some good news. I'm kind of also catching up on the chat while reading this as well. But definitely some good news out there. In Starkville, y'all getting some much needed rain, and thankfully not quite as intense, but I know a bunch of my friends out there will be very excited to see some of that lightning get closer and closer towards you guys. And I'll probably see a lot of videos later. So still seeing some of those energetic storms. This is a camera out there in Maben showcasing those soggy conditions. We'll see if we can get a lightning strike. But the good news is it's not as constant as what we saw earlier. We would look at that Ackerman camera towards that storm way off in the distance, closer towards Winona, and it was just constant lightning. Not quite seeing that right here, which is definitely a good sign. There we go with one of those flashes. But due to that occurring, I mean, it just already took maybe 10 to 15 seconds to get that one. These aren't occurring as quick. So still very soggy out there just outside of Starkville. This is in that Maben community, but still showcasing those soggy conditions out there as those showers get closer towards you guys. Let's take another look out here in Ackerman. This one might be a little bit better, showcasing some of those strikes out there in the distance. We already saw one of them. I think I'm going to start covering them up. They're going to be on the left side of your screen. I just moved over a big one right there, but still seeing those strikes over there in the left and kind of almost right behind me. I kind of got to stay in the middle just to show you guys what's going on. But definitely very exciting news as we continue monitoring those storms, or not exciting news, just kind of still fun to see the light show off in the distance. So hoping to keep that intensity very low, very minimal, not wanting to see that ramp back up. So definitely exciting to see that continue to move through the Golden Triangle region, and the fact that we don't have that severe thunderstorm warning in place anymore. And as I'm talking about that, our lightning strikes are down to 690, so still sub 700 when I'm zoomed into this. And I think I was even more zoomed into just the storm closer towards Ackerman entering Choctaw County. So the fact that I have all of this in frame right now and we're still sub 700 is definitely some good news. But let's zoom this out completely to talk about all of North Mississippi. Still, those are the only kind of intense showers that we're talking about right now as they continue to get closer and closer towards the Golden Triangle region, kind of moving all through Choctaw County, even to the most northern portions of Atala County. But for those out there in the Golden Triangle region, you're going to start noticing some of that light show get closer and closer towards you guys out there towards Starkville, Columbus, West Point, even towards Aberdeen. Still got a ways to go. But again, these aren't really having that northwesterly motion. These are kind of more kind of east, kind of moving a little bit southeast as well. So let's get the latest look on that just to see if they're maintaining that speed and direction here. Let's go for the past hour. Yeah, still kind of keeping that southeasterly flow, almost easterly the further north you go. So definitely a good news, because that's also one of the reasons why we're not talking about tornadic threats. If we were to start seeing these kind of go more northeast direction, we'd start to talk about the potential for tornadoes. And that's typically how we see our severe weather move through North Mississippi. But thankfully, since it's coming out of the west, kind of that northwest direction, and going towards the southeast, not really talking about tornadoes. We're actually talking about hail and just some higher wind speeds. And that's exactly what happened today. So also good news, we were talking about those severe thunderstorm warnings earlier on, and not quite talking about that anymore. So we continue to stay a little bit less intense, and those lightning strikes continue to drop as well. I have to lower myself just a little bit. We're now down to, let's see what the latest loop is, 688. So continuing to decrease with those lightning strikes, not quite as intense. That is a good sign as it gets closer towards Starkville. I know that's a heavily populated area, the Golden Triangle region, moving through Choctaw County, northern Atala County. So not quite seeing that same level of intensity as we saw earlier. So let's continue. I mean, this is still kind of the area to take a look at. Let's go back towards our cameras. Maybe we can try Starkville camera again, as those storms are kind of almost right on top of the camera at this point. Maybe might see a little bit more of those strikes off in the distance once it starts to load. You can see the skyline off in the distance of Starkville, kind of those the brighter lights that's facing east towards the city. You can kind of see the lower clouds off there in the distance, so kind of some low cloud bases. Nothing too impressive though. And then some of those strikes kind of happening behind the camera as it gets closer and closer towards the Starkville community. So kind of putting on a light show for all the students out there on campus. I know all the meteorology students are going to be sitting on their balcony and enjoying them, and probably sending a bunch of videos. So I hope you guys enjoy the light show. Thankfully, it's one of those that you can enjoy, not talking about anything intense as that storm continues to get closer. The latest frame kind of updated behind me. You can see that storm get a lot closer towards you guys out there in Oktibbeha County, just showing those higher kind of rains moving on through. Let's take a look at the chat, see what you guys are talking about. Hey, Caleb, are those the only intense showers? That was asked by Maddie. Yes, we can take a look at North Mississippi. Let's get off of this camera. I'll continue looking at this chat while I pull that up, just to make sure I can read all the questions and know kind of what all to talk about. Looks like y'all are all talking about Starkville. Taylor, there's no tornado threat tonight. We're only talking about wind and hail. But yes, going back to your question, Maddie, for those asking if these are the only intense showers, this is a look at all of North Mississippi right now. We're pretty much only talking about those showers in the northern portions of Atala County, entering Choctaw County, getting closer towards Oktibbeha County as well, kind of leaving Webster, getting closer towards the Golden Triangle region. There go Javonta in the comments and saying she's enjoying the lighting show. It's definitely producing lots of lightning. So I know those are always fun. I enjoyed growing up watching those in the distance, at least being safe while they move on through. So I hope you guys continue to do so tonight. But the good news is those strikes continue to decrease. We're getting lower and lower as these storms move on out. So I'm not expecting these to kind of have a lot of fuel. I think the further east they go, the less they have to act on. So definitely good news as that gets closer towards the Golden Triangle region. We can put another storm track on that for you guys as those continue moving on through. Let me position this. That way you guys can kind of see where it's heading, and let's get the right direction on that as it continues, thankfully, downtrending in its strength. So let's put a latest track on that from everyone affected along that leading edge. Then we're still going to go right around, we can still probably go 30. And that might be just a little too fast, but I'd rather do that instead of it be too slow. But thankfully, again, this continues to not be as intense. So there we go with a good, let me move this over for you guys. I can talk about that over here. So taking a look, actually, let me frame this better for you guys as that continues moving on through. Take a look at your cities that are starting to get affected and eventually will as this kind of continues moving on through. Lakeside Estates right around now, Wattle around 1134, Chester 1135, Adaton 1136, Cedar Bluff 1137, Bells around 1139, same for Green Acres, 1141 for McCool and Longview and Sunset, and also Westland Heights, and then Pleasant Ridge around 1143, Whispering Pines around 1143, and Fulcher around 1144. So definitely some good news. Let's also kind of change the level on this here. We'll move this up towards to see if we can kind of encompass some other cities as well, kind of closer towards the end of it. in case it kind of does maintain a little bit of its strength, even though thankfully continues still downtrend. Ware by 11:43, Ackerman 11:47, Starkville Community at 11:49, Artesia 12:11, Crawford 12:15, Louisville 12:16, Noxapater around 12:24, and Brooksville around 12:31. So definitely still talking about those overnight showers continuing into the overnight period. That's one of the things we were talking about. So where we'll see those afternoon showers, evening storms continue, but still affecting a few of us here in North Mississippi. But taking a look at the grand scheme of everything, not all of us will be experiencing these soggy conditions. And honestly, all of us aren't really experiencing anything intense. So y'all are all good to go to bed tonight. No, we got to get ready for the work week tomorrow, get ready for our Monday morning as well. We're not talking about any severe thunderstorm warnings at this moment, hoping to see that continue into the overnight period as well. So hoping to see that trend continue. We're seeing those lightning strikes continue to decline as well, this time around 379. So thankfully, good news. Those soggy conditions now further east across our viewing area. Not quite talking about that along I-55 or further out west. Y'all are starting to see those drier conditions a little bit earlier. And that's because y'all went through all those soggy conditions first as well. So that's kind of the grand scheme of everything going on here in North Mississippi. Again, if you're just now joining, I'm meteorologist Caleb Edelblut, joined by our chief meteorologist Matt Laubon, who's been helping me behind the scenes and kind of covering for me as well, kind of showcasing everything going on to keep you guys updated tonight. So thankfully, again, want to keep emphasizing hail and wind continue to be the biggest threat. And even right now, we're not really experiencing that, not seeing any of those severe thunderstorm warnings. So I'd say our biggest threat is just kind of those lightning strikes as they continue to move on through North Mississippi. I actually left those power outages on behind the screen, and we're starting to see a few of those get reported in Natala County as well. So I'll have to keep my eyes on that to give you all the latest look once I can do that behind the scenes. But lightning strikes, I'd say, are our biggest threat at this moment as they continue to put on a light show, but could unfortunately kind of strike a power line, transformer, knock that power out as well. So our heavier showers continue to be out here in the Golden Triangle region. That continues to be it at this moment. We can zoom back in to talk about those, get a visual on them as well. This is exactly what we're looking at. So for those in Ackerman, we can go take a visual of that here. Let's see what that's saying here as I check all my notifications to make sure I'm not missing anything. Ackerman's still showcasing that lightning. I think it's going to be right behind me. Let me see if I can step over here. There we go. Yeah, I would have covered it up. So all those showers continue to move just north of Ackerman, so not quite seeing those heavier showers at this moment, but still kind of seeing that on the left side of the camera as it continues moving on through your county. Thankfully not affecting you guys out there in Ackerman itself. So I know some people in the comments were commenting about that, saying loving the lightning show. I know I always do as well. A bunch of the meteorologists at State are going to be enjoying them as well, and I know they're very excited. Speaking of, let's go take a look at our 8 to 10 camera as those lightning strikes get closer and closer. Again, covering up that latest radar look just towards the left of Oktibbeha County, but still those darker skies out there in the distance, of course, nighttime, but still kind of seeing some of those clouds out there. Thankfully, Starkville night lights kind of illuminating some of the cloud bases just ahead of the camera. Not quite, I just had to say something, and then it would of course, do a lightning strike, but not quite seeing many active lightning strikes as compared towards that Ackerman camera. Again, most of those are probably behind this camera as this continues to face east towards Starkville. So as soon as we see these kind of darker colors move on through the county, we'll start to see those lightning strikes become a little bit more prominent if it keeps its strength. So not quite seeing that just yet here on the Starkville camera. Let's take a look at our West Point camera. We haven't checked that one in a while, and I'd be curious to see which way that's facing, especially if it is facing towards Starkville, which it might be because I see some of those brighter lights in the distance. Let's see if we can get any of those lightning strikes popping up here. But in the meantime, 70 degrees out there feels like 64. So that cold front really starting to bring the nice effects here to North Mississippi, at least with that temperature. Not quite talking about those humid, muggy conditions. And there we go. Some bright lightning strikes occurring out there in the distance as this camera is facing west, closer towards, you can see Starkville off in the distance. But those showers not quite affecting you guys out there in West Point. But like I keep mentioning, y'all might be able, or y'all might not be able to. Y'all might wake up to some rumbles of thunder later on tonight. But of course, that continues to be our peak threat. Not talking about tornadoes, not talking about a tornadic event. This continues to be very wind heavy, hail heavy, And even that right now continues to not be as impressive or anywhere near where it was earlier on this evening. So now we're down to 660 strikes right now. Definitely some good news to see those strikes continue to kind of decrease. These showers continue to push closer and closer and pretty much further into Oktibbeha County, even across Choctaw and into the most eastern portion of Attala County. Looks like we have Cameron in the comments saying Mabon is heavy rain and wind. I bet I know y'all are probably getting all that rain right now. We can see that right over you guys, and it kind of just moved on through. So I bet y'all are also seeing a bunch of that lightning as well, probably hearing those rumbles of thunder. Thank you, Maddie, for loving the suspenders. I'm a big fan of them. I need to find more pairs. I only have my maroon, but I need to get some matching sets because that would be good. Meteorologist Taylor Hunt, you're good to go to bed. There is nothing to worry about into the overnight period. Y'all are good to go as long as you're fine with maybe hearing a few rumbles of thunder, maybe some pea-sized hail hitting the roof wherever you're at. That continues to be the biggest threat into the overnight period. You're going to be good to go and not having to worry about anything tornadic or anything like that. And I feel sure with us all living in Mississippi, we are accustomed to severe weather. We know how intense it can get. We can handle some lightning strikes, some rumbles of thunder, some heavy rain, heavy wind, and even some hail. So those continue to not be very impressive at this hour. So still talking about those showers into the overnight period. They continue to bug us just a little bit. So kind of still wanting to give you guys the very latest, which honestly, because of that, we never finished the 10 o'clock show. So I could probably go back to that for you guys right now to let you know what to expect for the overnight period ahead and what your Monday and Tuesday looks like. Because yeah, I think I stopped on the next 24. Okay, yeah. So let's go through the rest of this. I'm going to take off the chat as of right now. Okay, real quick. What about I believe you meant to say Artesia in the time frame. Actually, yeah, real quick before we go back to this, let's put the latest storm track on that for you guys. And then we'll go into the rest of that show. That way you guys are good to go to bed and kind of know what to expect tomorrow. So Artesia is going to start heading your way. Let me zoom out again. I'm going to put this in the frame. That way you guys can see it and also see where it's going. So I'm going to back it up just for a second. It'll go off screen. That's just so I can kind of see the direction and kind of trend it's making. Okay, perfect. Still kind of keeping that southwest or southeast motion. So sorry, it's late. Kind of getting closer towards the Starkville community right now. Go just right along the edge of these showers. Again, very unimpressive, nowhere near the strength that we saw earlier. So still keeping that, 30 miles per hour especially might be pushing it at this point. But let's take a look at that. I'll move this over. That way you guys, no, I'm gonna keep it the way it was. I think that's probably the best way I can do it. That way I can stand over here. All right, so taking a look at, let me change this for you guys. We're gonna have a lot of nows, which I can technically read out for you guys. So for those kind of undergoing that line right now is for Bradley, Tuscan, Green Oaks, Landers, Magnolia Heights, Northwood Hills, Rolling Hills, West End, Whispering Pines, and Wooddale. If we were to change this behind the scenes, give you a good visual, especially for you asking about Artesia. Let's change this. See if we can get that. There we go. You will be included within this list. So taking a look at the latest storm track, Starkville around 11:45. So within the next few minutes, it's kind of pretty much on the western side down Highway 12 right now. Artesia 12:05, Louisville 12:13, Noxapater 12:22, Crawford 12:23, and Brooksville around 12:32. So that's the latest storm track. It looks like Susan's saying it is storming here in Sturgis. I know you guys are kind of getting that heavy rainfall right now. But Lou, I hope that answers your question on the latest timing for Artesia and kind of into the rest of the Golden Triangle region and our southern counties as well. So that gives you the latest track. Again, nothing impressive, nothing intense, nothing severe. So I wanted to give you guys the latest look at that. That way we can go back towards the 10 o'clock show and everything you guys need to know as we continue. So let me pull off the chat. We'll go full screen here. There we go. And then we can go back towards this. And then I'll make sure to go back to radar to answer any questions you guys have left. Well, let's start off with those current conditions. This is starting off here in Tupelo. So current conditions right now, 68 degrees, feels like 66, that dew point around 64. Not quite seeing those soggy conditions just yet, but could see a little bit into the overnight period. Again, this model still showcasing some of those showers a little bit further west than where it actually is. So this model kind of a little bit behind with those showers, but the good news is it's not showing anything intense. So by midnight, we're going to see those showers continue to move on out of our area. Expect that a little bit further east compared to where it actually is. But taking a look at your latest kind of HER run, we're talking about pretty much mostly dry conditions into the overnight period. We're not talking about much of that rainfall throughout your Monday morning, at least for most of us here in North Mississippi. Thankfully, those drier conditions, they are pretty much right around the corner for us. Now, those low temperatures for your Monday, pretty much the upper 50s for a few of us, low 60s for most as we continue into the overnight period. So that's right around average for this time of year, so pretty typical for where we should be. And of course, with it being Sunday night, almost Monday morning, got to get ready for the school day tomorrow. So low 60s by drop-off. Still talking about a few of us seeing those rain chances tomorrow morning, but upper 60s by lunch, mid 70s by the last bell. Still going to be kind of a cloudy day tomorrow. Don't worry, that sunshine, it is also right around the corner. Just got to wait until Tuesday, and it'll kind of stick with us for the rest of the work week as well. Now, coming back to Futurecast, that just played through the morning. It's been a little bit later than when I start these shows, so the pause points won't exactly match up, but just to prove that nothing's going on throughout the mornings, or at least nothing significant, I can back this up for you guys, shift this over as well. That way you can kind of see what's going on. So we're starting off around 9:30, and as we continue into the morning hours, still not talking about anything significant. We're talking about pretty much dry conditions all across North Mississippi. Going to be a little bit cloudy of a Monday as you start off the work week. Thankfully, that trend continues into the evening hour for the most part. Maybe a few spotty showers, light showers trying to inch their way closer towards the Delta. I say that I'm covering up kind of the action right behind me, getting closer towards those out there just south of Greenville, southern portions of the Delta. But as you can see, they don't quite make it that far. So spotty shower too can't be ruled out, but for the most part, we continue to stay pretty much dry all day long tomorrow, especially into the evening. And tomorrow evening is definitely going to be the best part of your Monday, because we're going to start talking about that clearing that'll take place. And then we're going to start talking about sunnier skies as well. Now, those high temperatures for your Monday, we are cooling off towards the mid 70s. So definitely talking about below average temperatures for your Monday. So definitely exciting news as we get ready for the work week ahead tomorrow. And as we get ready to cross that midnight time frame, those feels like values keeping you right there with those temperatures, maybe making you feel slightly cooler just due to that northerly wind. Nothing significant, but still going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. Finally talking about drier conditions, cooler conditions, and just overall a much more beautiful forecast in store for us. Now, Futurecast, this is back to our strike model, already showcasing that clearing taking place. Maybe the possibility for a light sprinkle or two. Not quite confident on that, but again, as in most part here in North Mississippi, we're staying dry. We're going to start staying clear into the overnight period as well. So this started around 6 o'clock, stopped at 7, but I still have my hourly marks. Let's just walk through it again this way, because that'll just be the easiest, as I can move this over for you guys. Let's see if it'll load. If not, I can just delete all the pause points. Okay. It's still going to show all that. Yeah, we can just delete that real quick. I'm going to do this behind the scenes. I would have had this ready for you guys, but that severe thunderstorm warning wanted to pop up, and that's a little bit more important than deleting all these pause points. So we're going to get that situated for you guys. Perfect. You got a little bit of a spoiler of everything occurring throughout your Tuesday, but as you can tell, it looks to be a beautiful forecast. So we're starting off around 6 o'clock for your Monday, starting to already see that clearing take place throughout your Monday evening. Thankfully, that's going to continue all night long throughout the overnight period. We're just pressing play, allowing it to play on through. No pause points needed, because we're not tracking out anything. We're now at 8:30 on your Tuesday morning, not a cloud in sight. So when I said a picture-perfect start to your work week, especially once we make it towards Tuesday and on, this is exactly what I mean. We're talking about drier conditions and clearer skies as you get ready and started for your Tuesday. That will continue towards lunchtime as we kind of see that easterly wind continue to blow across North Mississippi, even into the evening hours. We're still not really talking about anything. We can't really look at anything here. I know we've definitely had our fill of looking at radar all throughout the day today. Not going to be the story throughout your Tuesday. That's around 6 o'clock and into the overnight period. We're still staying clear and staying dry. So we've definitely been needing a calm period here in North Mississippi with how active it's been. We're finally getting there. Just got to get through these last few showers tonight, and you're going to be good to go. Now, those high temperatures for your Tuesday, slightly warmer. We are going to be warming up into the rest of the work. We can pretty much just settle around the low to mid 80s, before we're already back into almost the upper 80s by next weekend. So low 80s for your Tuesday, good news is we're going to be feeling like we're actually in the upper 70s, so definitely a positive note with this forecast. Very exciting news. Going to be an excellent work week coming on up. Like I mentioned, just got to get through those soggy conditions today, and we're going to be good to go. 7-day forecast showcasing exactly that. 20% chance of rain coverage just due to these rain showers still continuing to affect us tonight. We're just now 10 minutes off of midnight. Still going to see some of those showers kind of into the 1, 2, 3 o'clock time frame, but kind of move on out into the early morning hours. Upper 70s for your Tuesday with clearer skies. That continues throughout most of your work week before we finally make it towards another weekend here in North Mississippi. Low 80s for your Friday, and then we're already back into the upper 80s next weekend. So for all the kids asking to get in the pool, kind of start those summertime activities, we're finally getting that summertime weather here in North Mississippi. So it's coming around the corner, and we can finally enjoy a much more calm and drier weekend and pretty much just a work week coming on up. But speaking of coming up in 60 seconds, I'm going to go back to radar, give you all another look at everything ongoing, continue to walk you through those showers and storms moving on through. And then we're going to be close to wrapping this up because we're still not really under any severe thunderstorm warnings. Give you all the latest look and everything that you guys need to know as we continue kind of pushing through Mississippi live weather at 10. Now Mississippi live weather at 11:50. That'll continue right after this break. Oh, it won't. Oh, it won't. Okay, no, we're not done. Let's go back actually, because I thought we'd had one more commercial break. Let's see if I can clear that off. There we go. Okay. We can actually pop the chat back up before I wrap this up. Let's go back towards analysis mode. Go back to those rain showers. Still not talking about anything too intense. We'll zoom that back out. And then let me not read the tiny chat because Chief Meteorologist Matt gave me the chat button here, which I can press this. Perfect. Okay. So we're talking, looks like a bunch of my friends are in the chat, hoping everybody's having a good night. Don't need to get in your safe place. Y'all are going to be good to go for the rest of the evening. I think all the meteorologists are in the chat right now. So I know you guys are up taking a look at all those storms moving through Starkville, which we can zoom in, get a good visual on that for you guys as it continues pushing into the Golden Triangle region. Not going to stay on too much longer just because there's nothing intense ongoing. But actually, now that I mention it, I was waiting for the storms to push further into Starkville. So let's go back to our camera and see if we can see some of those lightning strikes further into Starkville. Yeah, I can't really see the Starkville lights anymore. Yeah, take a look at that. So 68 degrees. I think that says feels like 59, and you can kind of see some of the strikes being emitted further up in the top of the clouds, but I really don't think you can see them quite well just with how heavy that rain is falling. So definitely some good news, or not really good news, but at least it's not as energetic, and hopefully keeping that kind of just cloud to cloud, not really seeing those cloud to ground strikes. So still showcasing somewhat of a lightning show, but nowhere near as intense at what we were tracking earlier further out west across our region. So Starkville kind of getting that heavy rainfall tonight. I know all my friends are up and watching that move on through. Southern Choctaw County, y'all are also getting some of those showers as well. Let's take a look at our Ackerman camera. It might still be facing west when those storms were moving on through. Actually, now it looks like it might be facing east closer towards Starkville. As you can see those brighter night lights. There we go. Still showcasing those bright lightning strikes continue to emit from those storms kind of moving through North Mississippi. Again, nowhere near as intense at what we were talking about earlier, but still kind of ongoing. And you can see right behind me into the southern portions of y'all's county as well. So I know y'all are excited to see the lightning kind of move on through. Very excited to kind of just enjoy a lightning show as y'all are falling asleep tonight. So it's that stress-free rain that you can enjoy, maybe hearing a little bit of pea-sized hail, but honestly, taking a look at radar, we're not really talking about that anymore. It continues to still be very, very unimpressive, nowhere near that strength we were talking about earlier. So these are kind of the last bit of showers moving on through. I just gave y'all a visual on that. I think before we wrap it up, we can give you the latest storm track just to give y'all the latest timing as we wrap this up. Let's see. Ackerman is looking southwest towards town. Okay, thank you so much, James. Perfect. So yeah, that kind of gives you the direction on where that camera was looking, and you can already see that lightning still being emitted from some of those storms moving through the Golden Triangle region. So let's do the latest storm track on this before we wrap this up, kind of head to bed because I know you guys need to get ready for the work week tomorrow. And we'll kind of do this as close as we can right ahead of it. We'll still go that southeast motion. And we're still going to go 30 miles per hour. Just, I think that might be a little too fast just with how this still continues to not be as impressive. Shift that over and I'll move out of the way for you guys. That way you can see everything. But for those folks kind of getting affected right now, that's High Point, College Vista, University Estate. So I know you guys are kind of out there kind of watching the lightning now. But then for those that it's kind of currently on track to head, it's around Quail Valley, 1156, Rural Hill, Craig Springs, Heritage Colony, and Rome around 1157, McMillan 1159, same for Belair Estates, Blackjack for 12, Ford 1201, East Macedonia 1202, Hickory Grove Estates 1202 as well, Sessoms 1203, Hines, or I'm going to say Hines at 1205, and Lokefoma around 1207. And of course, let me change that setting just to cover some other populated cities real quick before we kind of wrap this up. There we go. I can put that right there. So Louisville around 1207, Artesia 1211. I know somebody in the comments was asking about that earlier. Crawford 1225, Knox Bader 1226, and Brooksville around 1236. So real quick, catching up on the notifications, making sure I'm not missing anything. Y'all should be good to go for the rest of the night. We're just kind of watching these storms move on through the Golden Triangle region, even into Choctaw, or kind of exiting Choctaw at this point, heading towards Winston County, exiting Attala as well. So still expect kind of these rumbles of thunder to continue moving on through the southern portions of our region. But this is the latest look at North Mississippi at this moment. So appreciate all of you guys tuning in, staying up with us late tonight, making sure you guys are updated and kind of in tune with everything ongoing here in North Mississippi. But thankfully, we're not looking at anything anywhere near as intense at what we were talking about earlier. So I'm going to wrap this up. I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. And I'm pretty sure if I remember where I'm at in the show, we're going to show the broadcast schedule real quick, which that should pop. Oh, there we go. We'll start with QR codes. So I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. It's been a pleasure staying up with you guys, kind of keeping you updated throughout your Mother's Day. And I hope all of y'all had a special Mother's Day, celebrated all of y'all's moms out there. Here are the QR codes to both our iOS and Android app. We appreciate all the support you have given us, and also for tuning in, getting these notifications, and allowing us to keep you safe throughout this overnight period and throughout this stormy Mother's Day. But we will be back towards our weekday schedule tomorrow. We're starting at 6:30, 7, and 7:30 with our morning meteorologist, Maggye McCauley. So she'll still be covering the potential for a few stray showers and light sprinkles throughout the overnight, kind of early morning hours. But thankfully, we should hopefully start off our Monday with mostly dry conditions across North Mississippi. And our chief meteorologist, Matt Laubon, will be back in the evenings at 5, 6, 9, and 10 to help celebrate the kind of oncoming dry conditions on their way to North Mississippi that I know we are all excited to experience, because it's been a while since we've experienced dry conditions for a while. It's been an active weather pattern. Thankfully, we're kind of towards the end of that here tonight. So hope all of y'all have a fantastic rest of y'all's night. Have a fantastic Monday morning tomorrow and a fantastic work week. And I'll see y'all back here next weekend.
Growing up, Gabe was naturally curious. When he began to discover weather, Gabe just didn't want to know what was happening, but he wanted to know why it was happening. Gabe became fascinated with tornadoes, and it impacted his life. He wanted to pursue a career in meteorology. Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.